The opening of the Oldham County Code Enforcement Board meeting for, I do have it on, thank you, for July the 10th, 2024. The first item of business will be to swear in the staff that needs to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge? Thank you.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Has everyone on the board had a chance to look at the minutes? Motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay. Motion carries. Okay, the next item, before we getting into public hearings, is we're going to move one agenda item.
Yes.
Okay, agenda for citation number 766. We're going to move that forward. Ridgeway Property Management, is that correct?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you.
Wow. So the first case on the agenda is citation number 766. This is parcel number 25-LL-00-4967.4974 and 25-LL-00-4918.4926. The owners on record is Ridgeway Property Management, LLC. This hearing was not requested. This is the general location of the property off of Highway 22. This is a violation of the Oldham County Nuisance Ordinance, Sections 1 and 2. The Oldham County Code Enforcement Office received complaints about dumping of trash and yard debris was taking place on this lot. This had been an issue once before in the past, and the owners did clean up the area at that time, but this was a second time, and so the citation was issued. These are some pictures taken May the 24th of 2024. The picture on the left, you can see all the debris that had been piled up. Picture on the right, some more debris that had been piled up. In this debris, in these pictures, you can see there was other material such as decking, and the picture on the right, it looks like there was a sofa or a couch that had been dumped in the pile. The picture on the left, you can see there was a tarp, and the picture on the right, you can see couches, mattresses, and different things have been dumped on the property. A couple more pictures taken of the debris pile. The citation was issued on May the 29th of 2024. I delivered the citation on June the 11th of 24. I did send it by certified mail, but it was returned and unable to forward. So that's when I called the owner of the property and taped it to the office door of his business, of the apartments. This is the current condition as of today. The owner has roped off the two entrances, as you can see in the picture on the left and the picture on the right. All the when I went up there today, it appears that all the trash and junk has been removed, and the majority of the debris has been chipped up. There are a few logs that are laying around, but as of today, I've spoke to the owner, and he is working on getting the rest of it cleaned up. This is not the first time that this occurred. The property currently does not meet the conditions to be in violation. The fine of $150 has not been paid as of today. The owner is here to talk to you all.
Okay. Who's the owner? Yeah. Would you like to come forward? I thought you were.
Yeah, so
Well,
we
just a moment.
Hey, sorry.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. Name and address.
Adam Solinger, 201 Daleview Lane, Louisville, Kentucky, 40207. So we bought this. Can I go ahead and speak? Mm-hmm. Okay, we bought this acre and a half next to Grand Village Apartments a couple years ago. And we've roped it off before, but we have a rental house up there that's not currently, that no one currently resides in. And unless somebody's in there, they don't know if drive-by-night contractors break in and come up here and dump. So for about 5 or 6 months, a landscape company was going up there dumping, unbeknownst to us. If I had known, we would have stopped it. We had no idea. So as soon as Adam told us, we took care of it. So kind of something like we don't feel like we're responsible for it in a way. It cost us a lot of money to clean it up, several $1,000s, but it wasn't our stuff. None of it was.
Okay.
So,
All right. Anything else you want to say? Okay. All right.
any
If
questions?
you'd like to have a seat for just a moment. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so we should just go ahead and send it through the whole process. We should send it through the whole process. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Who would like to start the process? Oh, sorry. You want to start the process?
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
like to make a motion to pull back the fine since
Okay.
he's already.
We have to go through the whole process.
Okay.
There has to be a record. So we're on page 2.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that citation 766 that was issued on May the 29th was properly issued to the owner of the property.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a second. Okay, all in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Okay,
Did you vote?
did you vote?
Yep.
Okay,
Yay.
Madam Chair, I'll make a second motion that a nuisance ordinance was committed because the condition of the premises was detrimental to the property of others and caused or tend to cause substantial diminution of the value of the properties in the community, the storage of junk, lumber, trash, debris, appliances, furniture, and equipment.
okay, we have a motion on the floor for the nuisance ordinance. Do I have a second?
I understand.
This is just procedural, that you're going through, was there actually a violation of the nuisance ordinance? And you had evidence presented by the staff that showed that there was debris on the property, and it's up to you to determine whether you agree
So I
with that.
second.
So you said
let's just
you seconded, okay?
Yeah.
And we have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay.
We're going to get to your part. We just got to go
Okay.
through all these other things.
I understand.
Madam Chair, I'll make a third motion that since, based on the testimony of the owner and the information presented, that the fine of $150 be withdrawn.
I second that motion.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor and a second to remove the fine for $150. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay, we have one.
You might
Okay,
If anybody has any comments regarding it.
okay, do you want me to go back and withdraw it?
So if, now that you've done that, I guess the next thing is to just go ahead and dismiss this citation. Or consider it.
Okay. Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we dismiss this case and citation 766.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to dismiss this
Adam?
citation.
Adam?
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion,
Nay.
nay. Okay. Okay.
So the second case on our agenda was citation number 763, Zachary Hall of Dawkins Road. That fine has been paid.
What
and the
about
prop-
761? You skipped over the first item.
I'm sorry. The second citation number 761, Al and Connie Markham Trust of 3006 Cedar Point Road. So the owner on record is Al and Connie Markham Trust of 1116 Cedar Point Road. This hearing was not requested. This is the general location of the property on Cedar Point Road. This is a violation of the Oldham County nuisance ordinance, duty of maintenance of private property. Oldham County Code Enforcement has received several complaints on the property located at 3006 Cedar Point Road. The property on occasions has been overgrown with vegetation and has two structures that need to be addressed. Our office has spoke with the owners and have been working with them to bring the property into compliance. The trailer on the property was the primary concern, and an agreement was made with the owners for its removal. This is a courtesy letter that was issued to the property owner on April the 28th of 2023. This is the agreement that was made with our office on August the 30th of 2023. He came in and these are some photos of the trailer in question that were taken on June the 5th of 2023. This is a photo of the other structure that's on the property. It's a small house. He did come in the agreement that we had with him, he did come in and apply for a demolition permit for the trailer. He came in and applied for that demolition permit on August the 31st. At that time is when he discussed with Jim Urban about options, with what kind of options he had with the property, and agreed to have the trailer removed by May the 1st of 2024. On May the 7th of 2024, I received a phone call asking for an update on the case. I did drive out there, and as of May the 7th, the trailer did still exist on the property, as you can see by the photos. The photo on the left shows the little bit better condition of the trailer. It looks like the roof is caved in. Another picture on the right showing the condition of the trailer. Citation number 761 was issued on May the 10th of 2024. The citation was mailed by certified mail, but it was returned as unclaimed. So I did deliver a copy of the citation and I hand delivered it to the owners. This is being a violation of diminution of value to neighboring properties. I did take a couple photos of neighboring properties. The picture on the left shows one of the houses that's one of the neighbor houses. Same way with the picture on the right. And these were the next two closest houses that I could find to the property. kind of a case summary. The property does have two structures that are in need of removal or repair to bring the property into compliance. Both structures appear to have been vacant and neglected for several years. The vegetation on the property is being maintained at an acceptable level for property location and use. On August of 2023, he did apply for the demolition permit for the trailer and agreed to have it removed by May the 1st of 24. A fine of $150 has not been paid as of to date. As far as the second structure goes, our primary concern was to get rid of the trailer first, and then after that, we were going to discuss options on the second one. I think parties for both sides are here today.
Okay?
First is those speaking.
Yeah. Okay, for those who are speaking in support of this citation, would you come forward? In support.
Supporting the citation. So you agree with the issuance of the citation? Then the owner will get a chance to speak.
There's several of us.
Okay, well, the rest of you can stand back one at a time. Okay? Oh, you're going to swear them all at the same time?
It's easier. Raise all your right hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge? Thank you.
Name and address, please.
My name is Natalie Self. My address is 2705 Heather Green Boulevard, which is right off Cedar Point.
Okay. Go ahead.
I've been talking to Adam for a while. The trailer has been completely abandoned for, at least 10 years. The roof's caved in, the insulation just blows out. The property is maintained currently, but there's times when it goes a month with the grass up to here. It's, as you can see in the pictures, it looks terrible. Not just that, the house next to it was never finished, so it's just open to everything. There's kids that get in there with flashlights. You can see them when you drive by. So it's definitely a hazard, not just an eyesore, to drive past that to your homes every single day for 10 years. Okay. And it probably longer than that. I can say that it's looked like that for at least that long.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, please. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Lisa Butler. I live at 30.
Come a little bit closer to the.
I'm sorry. Lisa Butler. I live at 3095 North Highway 393, which is right around the corner from this property. I drive past it all the time. I've lived in Oldham County for 28 years, and it's a nuisance. It's a hazard. I'm sure, dangers to anybody that would come up to that area. The grass is frequently overgrown. The roof is blowing off. It's a mess. And the amount of money that we pay taxes and everything else, we don't want our property diminished, having to go past this kind of property every day. It's crazy.
Okay.
So,
All righty, thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, who's next?
Melanie Gelati. I live 3011 Heather Green Boulevard. We've lived here 18 years this week, and the abandoned house is just as it was 18 years ago. Even when this trailer was occupied, it looked like this. It looks even worse than that picture. There currently is insulation spewing out the front. I actually prefer it when it's overgrown, which is how it is with the abandoned house next door. So it just kind of blocks it, so you don't even see the house. I just find it embarrassing to drive by it every day, and it just doesn't speak well of Oldham County. The trailer has been uninhabited for many, many years. It needs to go away.
Okay, thank you. Okay, who would like to speak against this citation? Who's the owner? Is he here? Oh, I'm sorry. I can't hear me either. Who is the owner of this property? He was here, he left. Oh. Okay, you want to swear them in? Okay, you need to raise your right hand. If you're going to speak, you need to raise your right hand.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
We do.
Thank you.
Okay, who would like to speak first?
Say again, ma'am.
Can you give me your name and address?
Al Markham. That's 3006 Cedar Point Road, LaGrange.
Okay.
And that is the property that you're viewing right there. We live we live on the other side of Cedar Point near Schrader Lane. So we also have a residence that has nothing to do with this on Cedar Point.
Okay.
First of all, I have no dispute that the trailer needs to be removed, and I have agreed to that. And that is not being what you call normally cooperative with me. I agree it's in bad shape. We rented a property since we were very young, so it was I know it doesn't meet that state now, but it was important to us at the time. So my point is, we have no dispute in removing the trailer. Have started the paperwork. I really have no excuse for not completing the removal of it. As I say, it is an eyesore, and it's not in a state of rental. We have no interest in keeping the property, so it will be done. I'm not going to use this as an excuse, but I have some medical issues right now I'm dealing with, and when I applied for the demolition permit, I don't have it in front of me here, but it was kind of at the first of the year that I agreed to get busy and do it, and I was able to do things at that time. That's no longer possible for me, so I'm going to have to hire somebody out to remove it, and I will do that. And there again, I'm not using that as an excuse. It should have already been done. The other issues I think that the ladies made in good faith is they didn't want to drive by it. I wouldn't want to drive by it in particular myself either, so I have no problem with that. They have nothing to, you kind of feel unfair sometimes complaining about your neighbor, and they have nothing to be ashamed about in that regard, because I agree with what they're saying. So the other one made a point that it looks worse now that I'm mowing it. We're paying somebody to come mow it, and it looks worse. That's true. When you let something grow up in the vegetation and you trim that, it looks better than just an old trailer. So, I'm basically in agreement with everything that they said. I just need to get it done, and I'm hoping the court will see their way into allowing me some time to do that. I can't do it myself. I've already accepted that, so I just need to get it done. If there's anything else that I haven't addressed in what they said, I'd be happy to. Looks like I've drawn a pretty good crowd as a nuisance, and that's not something I'm called very often. So I apologize.
Okay, did you have anything you wanted to say? Okay, all right. So have you, in getting this process done, have you got a timeline? Have you put together a plan?
I would hope that you would allow me another 60 days, and I think I can get everything. I'll hire somebody to do it and get it done.
Okay. All right, sir, if you'd like to have a seat. Would you like to have a seat, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And, well,
Oh.
ask, before he sits,
okay, I'm sorry.
ask
I
if the
can't
rest
hear.
of the board has any other questions. You don't want to have them sit and then call
I'm
'em
sorry.
back up again.
I'm sorry. Does anybody have any questions
No
of
other
these
questions.
folks? Okay? All right. yeah.
Nothing? Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Al.
If you don't mind, you can just sit right there, because we may have some questions. Is there anyone that would like to rebut this? Adam, anybody? Anything else? Rebuttals? Okay. Adam?
Not necessarily that it's a rebuttal, but I know we're going to talk about the trailer within the next 60 days. I know one of the complaints that has been brought up is the secondary house on that. I know with our office, we've talked to him about the trailer being the primary thing, and we would work at a later time to address the secondary property. I would hate to have the trailer removed and then 6 months down the line be in here again over the house. So if we can address both of them, if they both qualify as Matt, because the citation was issued specifically to the trailer, and I don't know if we can address something that was not, the citation was not, it was not part of
Well,
that.
I guess that would depend on the property owner and whether he would consent to that.
When I consent to what they say,
If you would consent to some, not only a timeline on the trailer, but consent to discussing the secondary house that's on the property.
a discussion, you know, when you first came to see me, you said that you would like to have a discussion, and I said, that is a different. set of
Adam, we have to come back up.
Okay. You would have to stand up. Sorry.
Okay. Yes, what Adam is saying here is correct. At the time he came to discuss the trailer with me, he used the word discuss the house, and I said I would discuss it, but to me, it's a separate set of circumstances altogether. And I'm not prepared to discuss it at this point.
Okay, so my recommendation would be to not address it at all, and you can address it with a new citation.
Is there any other discussion? You ready? Okay.
I'll make a motion that citation 761 issued on May the 10th, 2024 to the owner of the property was done so appropriately, lawfully.
I second that motion.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, we'll take a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay.
I'll make a motion that this is a violation of the nuisance ordinance under the condition that use of the premises are detrimental to the property of others and tends to cause substantial diminution in the value of the properties in the community, such as the storage of any junk, lumber, limbs, trash, debris, appliances, containers, furniture, equipment.
Okay.
I
We have a
second.
We have a
Yes.
second. Okay. Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Okay.
I'll make a last motion that the civil fine listed as in the citation of $150 be paid by the owner of the property.
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a second. We have a motion on the floor and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Madam Chair, I don't think we can issue it as a motion, but I would encourage staff within the next 60 days. to
Well,
get-
that's part of the final
You do that as a final.
order.
Okay, all right, perfect.
So make your statement of remedial order. That's where you
Yes.
can, if you choose to put in your motion that you're going to give them 60 days to remove the,
Yes, yep. I'll make a motion that we give the owner 60 days to remove the trailer, and that if it not be removed within 60 days, that a second violation be issued.
Can I make another motion?
there should be a second before you're asking for an amendment to that motion? I think you first make a second and then ask for an amendment to the motion.
I second that motion.
Okay,
Any discussion?
any discussion?
Yeah.
I say that we,
Is your microphone on, green light?
yeah, my green light's on. I say that there's additional fine, but I say the fine that for the 2 additional months be added on versus just additional 1 month, be added on to ensure that is being taken care of within the 60 days.
I don't think we can do that. I think, again, Dean, if you issue another citation, there's a second fine amount, but you can't retroactive it. You've got to,
Okay.
you know, the motion on the floor is, if not removed within 60 days, another citation, that's a separate offense. And that's where the fine is, it goes from 250 to, from 150 to 250, and then if there's another one, it goes to 4. But that's at the discretion of the code enforcement officer.
Okay.
Good question, but I think that's what we've learned in the past, right? That
Our goal is to make sure that it's removed,
Removed.
right, within 60 days.
Is that correct, Matt?
Okay, before, well, we're still in discussion, can I ask, like from today's date, 60 days?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, just to be clear, yeah.
okay. Would you, I'm going to ask if you would like to go a little further, 60 days from today's date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Excuse me for not setting the deadline.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor that the trailer be removed 60 days from today's date. If it's not moved, that it will be a second violation,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
I
We have a-
second that motion.
And we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. You ready for your next one?
Mr. Markham, you're welcome to stick around if you care to, but you can leave if you'd rather.
I think I'm gonna pass.
Okay.
Does he need help getting up?
Thank you all.
You're welcome.
So our next citation, citation number 763, Zachary T. Hall, 1211 Dawkins Road. That fine has been paid and the property is currently in compliance. That case has been closed.
Okay, so citation number 763 has been closed.
Yes. So our third citation, third case, citation number 765, 1222 Cliffwood Drive in Goshen, Kentucky. The owner on record is Sabina Crowder and Monica Chambers. This hearing was requested. This is the general location of the property. It's in Goshen in the subdivision. I'm not sure the name of the subdivision. This is a violation of the Oldham County Nuisance Ordinance, duty of maintenance of private property, diminution of value of other properties. A little bit of case history. Oldham County Code Enforcement has received several complaints on the property located at 1222 Cliffwood Drive. This property does have a long history with our Office for Code Violations. There have been at least 4 cases opened since 2018 for violations from tall grass to the structure or pool not being secured. In 2018, the fence and gate at the front of the subdivision was in disrepair. Shrubs and vegetation were overgrown. There was natural debris all over the property, and the street address numbers were not properly displayed. In 2021, there was a case opened, but there wasn't a lot of information on the case file for that one. In 2022, the property was in disrepair. It was overgrown with vegetation. There was trash on the property, and the fence around the pool and gates were not secured. Several other times, I have made calls to the owners to address issues without opening a case. This is the current case in front of you all. The picture on the left is the left-hand side of the structure that stands on the property. The picture on the right, taken March of 24, is the right-hand side of the structure on the property. As you can see, the side door of the structure was not secured. It was open to the elements. And at the rear of the property, it had been busted in to where you could enter inside of the structure. The pool area was not secured. The picture on the left shows the fence falling down. The picture on the right is a rear picture of the property showing the condition. You can see that the siding's fallen off. There's graffiti all over the walls. The pools contain water. They're not emptied. I did contact the Oldham County Health Department to investigate the property for a public health concern. You all have a copy of the letters that they sent to the owners of the property in your packet. There's a copy of them right here. On May the 8th, I went out to visit the property. These are some pictures that were taken on May the 8th. The picture on the left is standing out on the roadway taking a picture. The picture on the right showing the vegetation up on the rooftop. Picture on the left, I don't know if you can see it real well, but the siding's fallen off, the gutter boards and everything's just fallen off the property. The picture on the right shows that the door to the structure's still not secured. Picture on the left shows that nothing had been repaired, the hole in the wall. The picture on the right, you can once again see that the siding's fallen off of the structure. A couple more pictures of the structure on the left, picture of the small pool on the right, showing that the water's. The picture on the left shows the bigger pool with water in it. The picture on the right, they did, because I had contacted her after I went out there in March. And in May, they did fix the fence. You can see that in the picture on the right. A couple more pictures that I took in May showing debris on the property, picture on the left. The picture on the right is just the frontal view of the property. I did take, being diminution of value for neighboring properties, I did take a couple of photos of neighboring properties. Here they are. 2 other pictures. And 2 more houses. These are directly across, these 2 are directly across the street. This was taken February the 26th of 24. It's a pictometry picture just to give you all a general idea of the location of the property compared to all the neighboring houses. It's in the center of a subdivision. The citation number 765 was issued on May the 24th. The citation was signed for by Sabina Chambers on May the 30th. The current condition as of July the 8th, I did go back out there with the health department. The picture on the left is the standing on the street taking a picture. The picture on the right, they had secured the doors entering into the property. These are two more pictures. The picture on the left is the left side of the building. Picture on the right, the vegetation still growing up onto the rooftop. These two pictures show all the graffiti and the building being all boarded up. They did, the hole that was in there, they did board that up to keep people out. But again, just the condition of it with the graffiti and all the boarded up windows. The pools contained stagnant water. The picture on the left shows the small pool. The picture on the right, if you can see this one, there's actually toys down inside the pool showing that people are entering that pool area. Looks like a small wagon and a chair. The Oldham County Health Department did send me a email stating what they had done with the property. They tried to contact them. She went out on July the 8th, noticed the stagnant water in the baby pool and the deep large pool, and they do consider this a public health concern. Case summary: the structure has been vacant and neglected for several years. It's covered in graffiti, has vegetation growing onto the roof, and is not properly secured at all times. The vegetation and brush is being maintained in areas, but not throughout the property. The pools contain standing water that is not treated, and the fencing and gates are not maintained on a regular basis. The fine of $150 as of today has not been paid. Any questions?
Not at the moment. Thank you. Who would like to, is there anyone in support of this citation that would like to come forward? In support.
If you support the issuance of the citation, now's your time to speak.
Okay, give us just a few minutes. Raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
Yes,
Thank you.
I do.
Your name and address, please.
My name is Glenn Gish, Gish. I live at 12008 Cloverdale Court, which is next door to this particular property. It has been an eyesore for, it says 2018. I think it goes back farther than that. Her father passed away. Gosh, I don't know. Mr. Akers, when did he pass away?
Well, it's, now's, you need to
2006.
just address this board and not ask questions or just present to us.
Fine, Jim, no problem. I just needed.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, you got it. Anyway, it has been an eyesore. It's been up for sale. Actually, a for sale sign was put up, I think, last week. It has had a sign up occasionally over the last 5 to 6 years. It never has been anything. We also have 2 tennis courts that you saw on the property. Didn't even take pictures of those because they are gone. I mean, they are gone. They're 50-foot trees in the middle of those tennis courts. My biggest problem is I live close enough to this particular property that the value of my home probably will be decreased because of it. It needs to be addressed. We do not need to continue to kick this down the road. And I can see it coming. We're going to kick it down the road, give her another 6 months, give her another week. She's got it for sale. The sign says the price has been reduced. I had a discussion with a neighbor or a person of interest that said that they offered her money for it. She laughed at him, and this was over 6 or 7 years ago, or 5 or 6. I think it's ridiculous that we have to come forward with these kind of issues because it should have been addressed a long time ago. And we continue to just kick it down, kick it down, kick it down. And she will come up here, I'm sure, and say it's for sale. Now, the other concern that I have is if it does sell and somebody comes forward, I want to know what's going to be put on that property. Now, I don't know that the owner has anything to do with that, but I'd suspect that either zoning or code enforcement has something to do with that. My suspicion is somebody at some point would buy the property, subdivide it, and try to sell it off lots, which is fine. I don't see that happening, but there's always that possibility. I sure don't want it to turn into condos or apartments. Apartments, number one. So again, let's address this. Let's get it taken care of. Let's look at it seriously and not kick it down the road.
Thank you.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Ralph Matheson. I live at 11804 Spring Meadow Lane. I'm the Goshen Hills HOA president. Our subdivision sits next to this, which is in Lakeview. The concern on this property as it stands is the kids use that clubhouse. You can see that it's been broken into. The kids in all the neighborhoods, that's where they go to do their drugs, do whatever else. So it's only a matter of time that somebody's going to get hurt or the building catches on fire or whatever. The second big concern is somebody falling into that pool and drowning, and that's going to be on your hands. This property used to be everybody loved this property. That's where all the kids went all summer long for years and years and years. Something needs to be done with this property. It's a beautiful piece of property, but the concerns that's going on now are, it's getting serious. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who would like to speak, who's the owner? Okay. Raise your right hand, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge? Yes. Thank you.
Your name and address, please.
I'm Sabina Chambers, 3010 Falcon Court, Shelbyville, Kentucky, 40065. This is very personal, so this is tough. I was going to be all professional. Okay, let me get my...
Sure.
First, I apologize. My sister couldn't be here. She has kidney stones. We also inherited that problem from our father. We have kidney stones, so I feel bad for all this. For years and years, I've probably spent close to $3,000 on cameras, anything to video to catch them so I can call and get help. One of the neighbors is a friend who used to work for my mom. He tries to help us. I've spent so much money trying to keep the kids out while it's for sale. Because I was going to be nervous, I kind of took some notes, if that's okay with you all. It was privately for sale right after my mom passed away. And talked to Goshen about it to see if they would be interested. And then we talked to the county, and Judge Vogel, do I have that correct? Came out to the pool, and I personally showed him the property. And so the county was very interested in it. And when he did come out and they had some other people look, they said they'd rather put the funds to the jail. So that killed us right there. And that was big hope that it would stay a pool. That was our dream. So that's part of the reason why it hasn't sold, is because we're trying to save the pool. I know it's a scary place. I've been out there trying to work on it, and there's been someone in there. I've called the police. We try to keep it up, but we're scared because we have no police protection. And so that's been really tough through the years, trying to keep it up to sell. So it's officially listed now. And it has been for a year. It's been officially on the market. I meant to have that sent to you all so you knew that I'm not lying. It's listed for a year. We recently reduced the price, trying to get an offer. We are actively trying to sell the property. That we don't want it. We are now actively out there working. That pool is drained. The health department said that pool was okay at the depth it was. That was not a problem, but she said to me that one was okay and to send pictures, and we have it drained. We are trying to figure out how to get the drain to continue. Since I don't have either one of my parents anymore, I'm not sure how to get it to continue to drain, but we are working on it. I've got 4 boys out there every day. So I'm trying, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying. The goal is to keep it as a pool. When I first went to list it, I was told that it had been changed to R2. So any buyers I get, I'm losing because it's been zoned to R2, which is condos, if I understand. What is R2? It's not just.
Well, let me just address that real quickly. The zoning was never changed on this property. It always was what it is, and I think it's R2. I didn't look at it, but it can only be what is allowed in that zoning classification. If it's R2, it's single-family residential.
Okay, so I guess what I didn't understand, or what we didn't understand, is so it ended as a business, and we're trying to keep it that way, and that's been the holdup, to be honest. Not really getting a lot of interest in developing it, getting a lot of interest in saving it. So that's been a holdup. So in the meantime, I do try to keep up with it. I'm not that you guys care, but I'm a divorced single mom, and this has become a headache to everybody, including me. I wish that there was a simple answer and it's sold. As far as an offer, show me it in writing and I will address it. I've never got an offer from anyone in that neighborhood in writing. I have put on the Facebook page that it was listed, and I saw people trying to get donors or people that would pitch in and purchase it. If somebody would have brought me an offer, I will entertain it. I am gladly going to entertain whatever comes to me. So that's not a problem. It's the fact that they're nervous about keeping it as a pool. That's what's happened to me. And so I'm trying to keep up with all this. What else have we done? If it's okay, I'd like to go over what I've worked on so far and what we are working on. Is that okay? I have a loud voice, I know. So we drained the small pool, and I spoke with her, and she said it was mainly the little pool, that small one, that needed to be taken care of. So I've worked on that, and it is empty, except for maybe the rain we had, but we plan on getting it cleaned out so it's not going to attract mosquitoes and be a health hazard. It is already empty. The graffiti, we painted the inside. As fast as I put the graffiti up, it's up within 48 hours again. So even with the cameras and stuff, they just tear them down, they break them. They're aggressive. They're very aggressive, who's ever coming out there. The inside is being cleaned out, and the storm damage, we had some stuff down, that's being cleaned up. I have photos. We have a big pile. We're going to remove it all. So we're trying to give it curb appeal. I planted flowers yesterday. I put up mulch. I'm trying to do the things that will make it look better. We're going to work on the fence. It's old. I'm working on it. We were trying to just put it up, but I will work on a new fence. Storms are tough on us out there. I mean, there were tons of trees down all over in Goshen yesterday, so That's been tough, even when my parents owned it. The roof we had covered, and we're working on estimates for that. We're just working on trying to get donors, which will lead me to what we're trying to do. And right now, I have someone that I'm trying to meet with to maybe make it a nonprofit and make it a community center for the county. But it's somebody with enough money that it's a little bit, I have to work to get in with him. I'm a realtor, so I'm trying to work my way into getting in with him to see if he will. He's saved a lot of businesses in the area, and he lives in the Goshen area. So I feel like he would have some personal value to it to him. In the meantime, we have other people we're talking to start getting things done, to donate money, and to make it hopefully that nonprofit where it could be for the community again, because that's really the goal, was to save it, not get it developed. And that's what everybody asks us to do, except some people, I find out, don't want that. But most people say, please don't unload it. Those toys out there, that's just from us cleaning up. That's not where they've been hanging out. My kids picked that up. We just didn't take it out in the junk load yet. We've got a big junk trailer. It got loaded. I promise I've been working on it. So that's what we're trying to do, is get the investors out there. We're trying to do things like maybe have a farmer's market in the meantime and get some life out there. Maybe that'll help keep the people away a little bit, the nighttime people. I mean, I don't know if I should admit this to y'all, but I've heard through the kids, it's like a Snapchat thing. Like, they meet there. We secure it. We've been securing it every night. But without any help, what am I supposed to do if I never have a policeman to help me? What are we supposed to do? And even my mom and dad had problems when it was a running business. They'd come and do, I can tell you all kinds of horrible things they do overnight. So it was never easy. It was never easy. It's just, unless I live out there, I don't know what to do. And I want to put up cameras again. If anybody has suggestions on how to do that, where they can't tear it up and I can call somebody immediately, like rings. I mean, I am open to suggestions while we get it fixed up. So I guess what I'm asking for is, we have a plan. The one lady that's interested in it could not come today. She had to work. But she has a business plan, but we want to take it to this gentleman and see what we can do with it. And we want to try to fill it in the meantime with maybe some day camps or farmer's market, and try to get, she also said that she has somebody from the Boy Scouts who might come and take all those tennis courts. We can get them cleaned up. So we are trying to address everything to save that club. Any questions?
Not at this time. If you'll just have a seat, thank you. Does the board have any questions?
I have
I'm
a
sorry.
question.
My mistake.
In the pictures, I didn't notice any for sale signs saying if it was for
I have
sale.
some. Would you like to see them on my phone?
I'd like to see them up here, but
Well, I didn't know how to do that. This is my first time here, so
And-
I didn't know about doing that. I apologize.
what it's zoned and the information
I think
on
Adam has been out there recently. I think he can testify whether or not there's
There was always
signs up
there was
there.
a small sign which people would take and vandalize. It's just always things are happening. And then I put up the big one recently, and then we did a price reduction to help with our situation. Thank you.
So there's a sign. I mean, is that
Yeah, I'm satisfied.
satisfactory?
There is a sign, and that sign has been.
Well, if you're going to talk, you have to come up here, so just hang on a second, though, but just to keep in order.
Well, I can send you the listing. It's been listed for over a year. I have been trying to sell it. I don't, we're trying to keep up with it. If it did
If you
get
can
tall
talk
and
into the microphone.
if it did get tall in grass, I have a friend that does it regularly. He's a business, and that was just if I find out or somebody calls me, I get it taken care of right away. It's cut right now. It looks good. Like I said, I do have photos. If I would have known, I guess I should have called, but I could have sent them all. But I do have them all, like of all the improvements so far, and it's it's looking better.
Okay. Are there any other questions of this individual?
I do. The property's listed for 799,000.
Yes. Well, no, it went to 699.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As difficult as you're saying it is to maintain and upkeep, and it always has been, I think it's difficult for someone to want to consider purchasing it for almost 700,000 or whatever it might be. Have you considered putting it up for auction?
I don't think that's a question that's relevant to the code board.
I retract the question. When was the property ceased operation?
After my mom passed away in 2016. And that's when I tried to sell it to the Goshen. We tried to negotiate with them and then the county, and they decided against it. So then it was listed, and I did show it a lot, I show it a lot. It's just the R2 thing has been tough. It has added to the to the saleability of it.
I got a question. How many times, I guess if the cameras are down and, we saw some pictures of entry being, the doors being open and the entry being, I guess the walls of the house actually been torn down. How many times do you all go there weekly, every weekend, or how can, just trying to make sure that it's locked up and nobody can get to the pools, nobody can get inside? What are you doing other than just the cameras?
Right now, while we're working on it, we're there every couple days. Okay. But I live 45 minutes away, so I could probably get the neighbor friend who used to work for my parents to take a peek over there, but I could probably get, if that's something you suggest, I will follow through.
Yeah, because we definitely don't want somebody getting hurt, right? We don't
Yeah,
want
no,
somebody
they
getting
go
hurt.
in the wee hours of the night.
But I mean, if it's locked.
It's
and,
locked. It's secure.
But we saw pictures of the doors open and the walls being
Well,
kicked
but it's
down.
secure now.
Right.
And we
So-
secured it on Monday and came back Tuesday, and they had broken.
Okay, so we need to find a better way to make sure nobody gets hurt, right? So that's probably the main thing, because kids can get hurt and somebody get drowned in that water, right? So
I'm not sure what to do other than, why aren't the police ever coming and helping us for all the taxes we pay? I don't understand. I'm not trying to complain, but when my dad was alive, we had friends, policemen that would kind of come and look, and now it's like the only time they'll come is if my daughter and I are in there with a stranger that we didn't see and we called them.
Right.
So, I get it, and I'm trying to do, it's not a complaint. I just wish that we could have a tiny bit, or at least somebody that drove by a little bit. Everybody's there to get us, but nobody's there to, call the police, I guess. That's just what and my one neighbor tries to listen for him, but kids are sneaky today. They're going in the they're going in the wee hours of the night where everybody's in a deep sleep. So other than staying there, which has been suggested to me not safe, which I've thought about doing, but then what do? Sit there and call the police if they're going to show up and be okay, and I'll be okay? So I'm not sure what to do. I'm just wondering.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, we'll ask you to sit down for a moment. Is there anyone else who wants to speak? Rebut?
I would just like to give a little bit of history on this. The building sits several hundred yards from the road, so it does sit way back. So it's hard for anybody to see if people are breaking into the back. Another thing I'd like to say is myself and the mayor of Goshen approached the county 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, for the county to take this over. But the cost at that time, the county people estimated at least $1.7 million just to get the property to code. The pool, because it's so old, would have, and that's a steel pool, it's not concrete steel, so it's totally different. It's aluminum. Right. So all the code on pools have changed drastically over the years, which would drive up the cost to get this code, to get the pool back to code. The building probably would never get back to code, but that's some of the history of it. It's an ongoing thing, and I can definitely see her situation because myself as the HOA, we hire cops off duty just to patrol my neighborhood. My neighborhood's only 109 homes. We sit right next to this, but in order to get patrol out there, there's not enough cops to cover the county, and that's an issue. And we definitely understand her dilemma, but we just don't want to see kids get hurt or anybody get hurt in that building or in the pool or on the property. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess one of the problems that I think that she's going to incur is with the property as it stands. I don't know the exact acreage. I think it's 5 to 7, somewhere in that range. To repair it and sell it will cost millions. To take that pool out, tear down the property, take up the tennis courts. There's so many things that would be involved. And like she does admit, the property's been for sale for 8 years. At $700,000, and if somebody's going to have to spend over $1 million or $2 million just to get it to level ground, I think this is a wish. I think her and her sister have had, and this is pure rumor, speculation, and over here, but I've heard that they've had a lot of discussion between themselves as to selling it or not selling it. I'll back up as far as history. She's correct. In fact, she may have been working there when my kids were there every day. And they're grown, and it's just a shame. And again, I will reiterate, I assure you that we're going to just kick it down the road. And that's the way we do things in our world. And it's a shame. I wish she had somebody coming forward with a bucket of money, but it doesn't look good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do we want to have board discussion?
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Board discussion?
You ready to accept motions, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion that citation 765 issued on May the 24th, 2024 to the owner of the property was done so properly.
I second the motion.
Okay. Okay, any discussion? Okay. We have a motion on the floor with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay.
I'll make a motion that this is a violation of the county's nuisance ordinance violation for the condition of the premises being detrimental to the property of others and causes or tends to cause substantial diminution of the value of the properties in the community, such as the storage of junk lumber, limbs, trash, debris, appliances, furniture, and equipment.
That's no offense, but I mean, not to jump in.
sorry.
but That's all been cleaned out.
I'm sorry. Right now, we're in. Sorry. Keep going.
A second.
Is there anything else?
Yes, no, ma'am, that's it on that.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Madam Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Is this the proper time to make an amendment to his motion?
Okay.
I'd also like to add to his motion that the condition or use of the premises renders the property dangerous or detrimental or adverse to the health or welfare or are offensive to the sense of residents of the community. And the violation was observed by an officer.
So that's a recommended amendment to the motion. So the person who seconded it, I think according to Robert's rules, do you accept that as an amendment?
I accept it.
Do you accept that as the maker
Yes,
of the motion?
I do.
And can I just clarify? I know that there was a comment about she's cleaning it up. This is in relation to the actual issuance of the citation at the time it was issued. And granted, you might have been cleaning it up, but this is, now the procedure is at the time that the citation was issued. We're going to get to the point of what to do about the property from there.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. Motion carries.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that the owner of the property pay the I think it's a $150 fine. I'm looking here and can't find it. Yes, $150 fine. It was due by June the 24th. So I say that we give the owner 2 weeks to pay, 2 weeks from today, to pay the $150 fine.
Okay. We have a civil fine for $150 to be paid 2 weeks from today. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Now, can we go back to the final order? Go back to the final, I'm sorry.
Just, you heard there was a nay in there. I just want to make sure you
Oh, I'm
heard
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
Yep.
You disagreed? Did you disagree?
Oh, yes, I disagree.
Okay, please speak.
Oh, I disagree
He
because,
just voted no.
voted. I'm
That's
sorry.
all.
No, I
just
didn't
wanted,
hear.
you didn't hear that, and you're keeping track. I
Yeah.
wanted you to make sure that you put in the record that
Thank
there
you.
was a dissension on the motion.
Thank you.
Wasn't sure what you were waiting for.
That's what I can't hear. Thank you. All right, now back to final.
I'll make a motion that the code enforcement officer visit the property at least on a monthly basis to determine whether or not any violations exist at the time, and that if he observe any violations, that he issue continued fines accordingly.
Let me just interject for a minute. This is a good case for learning, I think, what the proper roles are for the board, for the code enforcement officer. The board should not be directing the code enforcement officer to take administrative action.
My language was encourage, I think I said.
Right. And I would even hesitate to encourage these recommendations or encouragement. In the law, we speak of swords and shields, okay? And the sword in this system is the code enforcement officer. The shield is the code board. And I think there's been confusion about what the authority of the board is to force anybody to do anything, whether it be property owner or code enforcement officer. In this particular case, which is unusual, the property owner requested the hearing. The way the statute's written, the hearings aren't even required unless they're requested. So that's why I like this case, because the property owner requested the hearing. And so we're here correctly, and we're listening to a lot of testimony that goes outside of really what the code board should be considering. Was there a violation? Was the proper procedure issued to get everybody here? And those are really the two main things. Even the penalties are set. I don't even know that there's a range. I think in most cases it's already decided if there's a violation, then the penalty is what it is. I've already met with Adam about this case, and I don't want to make any recommendations necessarily to the board about what you do in particular cases, but I will make recommendations to Adam about what he does. And in his role as the sword, my recommendation is to continue to issue citations in this case. If the hearings are requested, then you'll be able to either shield the homeowner from the consequences or uphold what the code enforcement officer is doing. But at some point in time, there will be a trigger, or there could be a trigger of a circuit court action of foreclosure based on liens that resulted from the fines if they're not paid. And I think that this case is the perfect example of how if a code enforcement scheme wants to make a permanent change in a condition of a property without the cooperation of the owner, is continue issuing citations until you can get in circuit court and get the commissioner's office to sell this property to the highest bidder. So that's been my recommendation to Adam and Jim. But I don't know that the code board really is involved in any of that, really, unless the property owner requests a hearing. She did request a hearing today, so we're here properly. But the questions are, was the proper procedure followed to get her here? And she's present, so I'm sure she got notice. And is the testimony enough to support a violation of the nuisance ordinance? I can't answer those questions. That's what the board is for. But I think the inquiry should be limited to those things.
Thank you. I withdraw my motion.
Okay. So continuing that, though, one of the steps on the last page in the staff report is a remedial order, a final order. Is that proper? And then,
okay, I think there's slight availability for an order for someone to do something, but I think it has to be in the context of, is it part of a movement to protect the property owner in some way also? So in other words, if the code board issues a remedial order to clean up the property, or that's usually what it is. I guess theoretically there could be an order to sell the property. I don't know if that would be enforceable, but the flip side of it is the property owner would be getting something in return, no citations for the period stated. So if the code board says, we want you to clean the property up in 30 days, it's implied that there will be no additional citations issued during the 30-day period. Correct. And in some cases, the fines are waived or abated or reduced. So again, those are situations where the property owner is getting a benefit from, and that's where the shield comes in. So the code board has got some flexibility to exercise its shield power to try to coerce or encourage cooperation from the property owners, and that's what we do. And it seems to work in most cases. Some cases it's just not realistic.
so is it appropriate for a board member to consider in a remedial order, rather than instructing because you said they don't instruct the code enforcement officer what to do, it is to remediate the issues that could lead to another citation? And in doing that, we usually put timeframes on it.
I think the time frame is what makes it acceptable legally.
Yes.
If there was no time frame on it, then there would be no element of protection for the property owner against subsequent citations. So then it becomes in the nature of an injunction, which can only be issued by a circuit judge. Right. So we start to overlap into some things that are really outside of what this board has the authority to do. That's why I raise these issues, to keep us on the right track and grounded. I think it's appropriate to work with people and come to agreements that are styled as remedial orders, but really what they are is negotiations to try to get some work on the other side.
So again, is it proper to instruct the board to consider a motion in a remedial order format of actions and time frame to avoid a citation based on what you just said?
Yes.
So consider that. Rather than instructing staff, instruct the owner of the property to do something in a time frame in order to avoid additional citations. So in an attempt to clean up the property, and you've heard testimony that they're trying, instruct them how to do it, right?
Very well. Thank you for the advice, counsel. I'll make a motion that the owner of the property be given 30 days to have the property within the purview of all of the county ordinances. And if it not be, that additional fines will be issued.
Well, you don't have
Can
to
be
add
issued.
that.
Okay.
Again, that's what the code,
All right.
again, what Matt has been telling you is that's what the code enforcement officer's
Okay.
responsibility is. Your
They
instruction is
be
simply.
given 30 days to get the property in compliance.
How do you turn, is this on? There's no requirement that the board even entertain a remedial order. So if the board would hypothetically want to uphold a citation and leave it at that, that would put all of the discretion back on the code enforcement officer to go out tomorrow and issue a new citation if it's necessary, if the administrative staff decide that it's necessary. So when you consider the remedial orders, if you do not want to provide any shield to the property owner, then don't issue a remedial order at all.
Well, he made a motion.
I withdraw my motion.
So we were heading somewhere and now we're not.
Yeah.
Wait, we have a vote on the fine, right?
You withdrew the motion.
Okay.
So at this point, you can enter a new motion.
I don't have any.
Well, he made an attempt to enter a motion and I
tried.
think he was just told not to.
Well,
So
30
are you
days.
telling him
Yes.
not to, because he
We
had a
can,
motion that he had
counsel, we can
fashioned.
end with the
It
fine
was-
vote, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I have nothing further.
Yeah. Well, you know, Matt, I'm sorry, but he made a motion based on your dissertation about the shield. He told the owner what to do and when. And then, based on what you just said, he decided to withdraw it. We were going somewhere where we've always been. And I'm not sure why we got to the point where he felt like he had to withdraw it, since we were given instruction to the owner how to avoid a citation. Clean up the property within 30 days.
The ordinance tells the property owner how to avoid a citation.
All right. Gotcha. So then there's no further action to be taken at this moment.
There could be motions made. I'm not saying to make them or not make them. I'm just saying that if you don't want to provide a shield to the property owner, you don't have to make a remedial order.
Well, he just did again. And because you said that, he withdrew it.
I have no interest in providing a shield.
Okay.
And have all the recommendation or have no recommendation for a sword either,
Very good.
but would encourage it.
Okay, so now the owner is in a flux, and the folks who came in agreement to this citation are in a flux.
No, the ordinance still applies to that property. Mr. Bear can go write a citation tomorrow if it's warranted, and if the property owner requests a hearing, we'll come back and do this again. We don't, the board can limit the testimony to what's truly relevant to the citation. There's been a lot of leeway.
I agree.
And sometimes that's appropriate because those are the factors that I think the board will listen to when deciding whether to provide some shield to the property owner.
We've already approved that the current citation should be paid. So then we're pretty much done.
If there are no further motions, I think that settles it.
Okay.
And we'll be back again if the owner requests another hearing.
The owner does not have to request the hearing though, right? It can be an uncontested to come before the board.
In practice, that's true. The statute and the ordinance don't really contemplate hearings that are not requested.
I think in the first case we heard it was not requested.
It's very standard in this board
Okay.
that the hearings are not requested and we have them anyway.
So I think the simple instruction to Ms. Chambers is keep up doing the cleanup. Do what you can, stay in contact with Adam, do the best you can in order to satisfy him that you're not going to get another citation. Keep working on it. Right? I mean, if there's no further action, I guess that's the closure of the case.
He has a question over here. Madam, he's got a question over here. This gentleman
I'm
here.
sorry, go ahead, sir.
You want to open the floor again? You've closed the floor. Do you want
I
to
have
open it
closed the
again?
floor.
You can choose to open it again if you care to.
We'll open the floor to you, sir.
Again, it looks to me, and I'm not a lawyer, but it looks like that, and we'll take this out of this particular case. Let's leave this one alone. If I am a property owner with a citation that has been issued to a piece of property, and I'll try to take that's worth $10 million, and they're only going to get $150 a month or even every 60 days, a $150 fine. If I'm the property owner of that $10 million piece of property, I just say, for $1,800 a year, I'll just pay the fine.
Well, let me just rebut that, and we're not going to get into a long discussion about it. Each additional citation has an increase in amount.
Okay.
So the second citation is $250, the next ones are $400. The code enforcement officer could issue a citation every single day if he chooses to.
Okay.
So it escalates dramatically, kind of
Okay.
changing the
I'm
whole
sorry.
game plan. Yes.
I understand now.
Yeah.
But like I said, if it was 10 million and taken out of this particular property,
Right, yeah. Yeah.
it would be cheaper to pay the fine. You just
That's why
kick
we
it.
have an escalation of cost.
I didn't realize that. Thank you very much, Jim.
Yeah. All right, next.
Okay, next case.
So the next case on the docket was citation number 767, Joe Crow Builders, LLC, for 6605 Core Lake Road. That citation has been paid, and that property is currently in compliance, so that case has been closed.
Which one's that?
Citation
767.
Thank you. Okay.
number 767.
I don't have it. Okay, thank you.
The next citation, number 768, 4904 Harvest Drive. Citation number 768, 4904 Harvest Drive of Crestwood, Kentucky. The owner on record is Patricia Hone. This hearing was not requested. This is the general location of the property in Centerfield Heights subdivision off of Highway 22 in Centerfield. This is the violation of the Oldham County nuisance ordinance. Sections 1 and 2, there was lumber jump, trash and debris on the property, and duty of maintenance of private property. It was overgrown, and diminution of value of neighboring properties. 4904 Harvest Drive, a little bit of history. The Oldham County Code Enforcement Office has received several complaints on the property located at 4904 Harvest Drive. This property has a history with our office for code violations. There have been at least 2 cases opened since 2021 for violations from tall grass, junk and debris, non-running vehicles, and the structure is in need of repairs. In 2021, the case was overgrown vegetation, vehicles, junk and debris. In 2022, it was overgrown vegetation and trash and junk on the property and non-running vehicles. Several other occasions, I have reached out to the homeowner to work on bringing the property into compliance. This is a letter that was sent out to all residents of Centerfield Heights in March of this year, after receiving several complaints on properties in the subdivision. I did the letter. You all have a copy of it. It was sent, and I hung it on every door in the neighborhood. This was because of the number of complaints that our office had been receiving for the area. We were going to blanket the area, and I was going to try to clean up the whole subdivision. This is the current case on file. These are pictures taken May the 20th of 24. The picture on the left, you can see junk debris on the property, and the vegetation was growing onto the roof of the garage. The picture on the right is the residence in question. As you can see, the vegetation overgrown, growing onto the rooftop. A little bit of a closer picture. The picture on the left is the left-hand side of the building. You can see that the gutters have fallen off, the siding's in disrepair, the vegetation growing up into the building. The picture on the right, you can see the vegetation taking over the property. The roof is falling apart, and there's junk and debris all over the property. Citation number 768 was issued on June the 7th. The citation was delivered on June the 12th of 24. It was delivered to the residence that the property owner told me they were staying at the time, which is just down the street. This is the current condition of the property. July the 9th, that would be yesterday. I drove out there. The picture on the left, you can see most of the vegetation has been removed. She's got it piled up out front. The picture on the right, you can still see that the vegetation has been removed, but there is still some work that needs to be done to the structure. Another picture that was taken. The picture on the left, you can see the vegetation was removed from the garage, and a lot of the junk and debris had been removed, but the garage still needs to have work done on it. And the picture on the right, you still a little bit of junk and debris in the front, and you can see the damage done to the porch of the property that needs to be repaired. These are some pictures of neighboring properties. You can see the condition of their house. The property has a history of needing to be cleaned up. The owners will clean the property when notified of a violation, but will not maintain the property on a regular basis. The structure is in need of maintenance. There is still junk and debris on the property that needs to be removed, and the fine of $150 as of today has not been paid. Thank you. Any questions?
Is there anyone here to speak on the PAT?
I think they're on both sides.
Okay, anyone interested in speaking on behalf in support of this citation? No? Okay, is there anyone here the owner here? Yes. Okay. I want you to raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
I do.
Thank you.
Did you give your name and address?
My name is Patricia Hone, live at 2242 Boulevard Napoleon, Louisville, Kentucky, 40205.
Okay.
This property, it did have poison ivy growing on the garage. And kids asked me if I wanted it removed. I said no, because you're not going in the garage, because kids do go in there occasionally. Adults maybe, whatever. So I did hire my grandson, who removed all the poison ivy. We sprayed it, we took it off. It's not the most beautiful trailer, but it's not the most ugly trailer either. It has housed probably at least 50 homeless people over the time that I've owned it. And that was my main concern. It's very livable. It does have a leak in the roof, and I just got an estimate, one for $10,500 and another one for $12,000 something, $12,099, I think. I mean, yeah, it could be painted, you know, and I'm painting my other trailer. But it's far from being unlivable. I am selling it. you know. And I have two people making an offer. One was ridiculous, and the other one, I would prefer not to sell it to him because he's a drug dealer. But come push to push, I'll sell to the drug dealer. I'm not going to argue with people. Or the guy next door, he's interested. Now that trailer was the one with the red post right next to it. You can see it in the picture on the left. It was in very much disrepair. And they told the men, the mother died, and then one of the sons died, and then the other son died in the last 3 years. They totally gutted that house. It was in such bad shape. They put a new roof on it. They painted it, and they sold it for $137,000. And, you know, great for whoever sold it. But I'm not asking but $75,000 for mine. It's got a nice lot. My grandson cannot comprehend that if we tear it down and we put a new trailer on it, that it would be cheaper on him. I can't make him understand it. It's his loss. I'll sell it to anybody. You know, give me a fair amount, and I'll sell it to anybody. And I don't have a for sale sign on it. I have them in my car, but I was talking to the guy next door who wanted to buy it, and they've canceled on me twice to come and look at it. So I have cleaned it up. I've gotten all the thing, and I really don't know what that debris is right in front of the house that that's all the weeds we cut down because there were trees growing in front of the house. And I had them chopped down. But they were trees. They were viable trees. It didn't hurt anybody. There was hostas all in the front of the porch area. There's nice hostas and things. I didn't pay he says $150. What he told me was it was a $300 fine. And when he handed me a $350 fine for the first citation. That's what he told me. And then he told me after today, it'll be $400 a day until you all put a lien on the property and then take it and sell it if I don't pay all the fines. So I'm trying to sell it. And I also have another trailer in the area, which, I'm grandma. I have kids' toys in the yard. I have bicycles in the yard. They come riding their bicycle down the hill, right into the yard, throw it down, and go in the house. It doesn't stay there for a year. They're going to get back on that bicycle the next day or two. That was something. I could not have any toys in the yard. And I just think it's unfair, because it's like code enforcement is on my back. Not just him, but the city code enforcement. And when I go and take care of my weeds, I'm on a 10-day rotation to mow the grass in the city. And I think that's plenty. It doesn't get too high. And I have a shared driveway, which I should be able to spray for grass. I didn't want that shared driveway. I spent money fighting that shared driveway. But the guy won. Fine, I'll abide by it. Every time I even go near that property, neighbors call the police. Police come in. Don't spray. Don't spray. So I have stuff growing up that piece of property in the city. That's the city. Doesn't have anything to do with this. But I don't feel that I should have to pay a $150 fine when the guy that lived there, he moved out about 6 months ago. And he actually came back 2 weeks ago to help me clean it. Because I told him, I said, it's not fair, you live here, you didn't have to pay. You're supposed to get on your feet and move on. Because that's all it's ever been, used for. It's homeless.
Okay.
I had a lady with 4 little children. She got scared because it's so big. It's 4 bedrooms, and she got scared. Raccoons up in the attic. I don't know what to do. If I poison them, I'm going to be in trouble.
Thank you.
So I really don't think it's fair. The gutters, they just fell down this year. I guess I didn't notice them until yesterday, actually. And poison ivy growing on a building doesn't seem to be a really bad thing. And it's a garage. And I personally have never had a junk car over there. Everything of mine runs. Everything's fine. My husband died 2 years ago, so I don't have the help. And normally I would cry about that because it's emotional. But see, just a couple months ago, I came out of an emotional coma. So now I'm getting things done. But then I got, can't have anything. I can't have anything.
Well, we're going to ask you to, we thank you. We're going to ask you to take a seat.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that citation 768 issued to the property owner on June the 7th, 2024 was done so appropriately.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I'll make a motion that this is a violation of the nuisance ordinance of Oldham County under the condition or use of the premises are detrimental to the property of others or tends to cause substantial diminution in the value of the property of the community.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
I'll make a motion that the owner of the property be given 30 days to get the property into compliance and that the $150 fine be held in abeyance for 30 days.
Okay, we have a,
Pending the property get cleaned up.
Correct.
Can I ask one question?
okay, we have a motion on the floor.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I got a discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We already have a citation ongoing, right? So the property. We already have a citation. So it's ongoing from this moment forward. We've already approved that citation. So there's really nothing else that we need to do, right? Because the rest is up to the officer.
You're still acting on this citation, and this motion is how to finalize it. That's all.
It needs
And
to
so
give it a
you're
30
giving,
days
you're giving them
buffer, right?
30 more days to comply,
Okay, that's fine.
if you agree to it.
I agree.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Ma'am, you have 30 days from today's date to get your property cleaned up and to pay the fine of $150.
Did I say anything?
No, ma'am?
Because I don't know what else to do. What do you want me to do?
Get your property cleaned up. That's what we've asked you to do. And pay the fine. Thank you.
So the next case on the docket is citation number 769, 4809 Harvest Drive. Citation number 769, 4809 Harvest Drive of Crestwood, Kentucky. The owner on record is Ricky P. and Patricia Hone. This hearing was not requested. This is the general location of that property. It's on Harvest Drive in Centerfield Heights off of Highway 22. Cindy, it's the same owner.
Okay.
This is a violation of the Oldham County Nuisance Ordinance, Sections 1 and 2, lumber junk, trash and debris, abandoned, discard, or unused objects or equipment such as automobiles, furniture, stoves, refrigerators, freezers, cans, and containers, and duty of maintenance of private property. Particularly on this one, it was mostly the tall grass. In March of 2024, Centerfield Heights, I did notify all owners of the subdivision with a courtesy letter stating that code enforcement was coming in. You all have a copy of that letter there, and there's a copy of it right here. In that letter, I did list a lot of the common violations that were found throughout the subdivision. 4809 Harvest Drive history. Oldham County Code Enforcement has received several complaints on the property, about the property located at 4809 Harvest Drive. There is overgrown vegetation, junk, and debris scattered around the property. There's animals being kept on the property that are making noise and smell, particularly turkeys, chickens, and a lamb. On May the 20th, I, along with Animal Control, visited the property to talk to the homeowner about the complaints and discuss the violations. On several past occasions, I have reached out to the homeowners to work on bringing this property into compliance. You all do have a copy of the Animal Control report in your all's packet. There's also a copy of it up here. So the Animal Control report, mostly in it was regarding the neighbor property. These two properties, which is the next case, these two properties are side by side, and it's hard to differentiate where the property line is, and the animals were on both properties. So you'll see in the pictures a little bit what I'm talking about. So this is the current case. On June the 12th, I did go out there. The picture on the left is the front of the residence. I'm standing on the road taking a picture of the property. You can see that the vegetation, especially if you look at the picture on the left, on the right-hand side, it's a little bit it's overgrown. There's always a little bit of junk and debris out front. The picture on the right-hand side is looking down the side of the trailer up against the neighboring property. On May the 20th, these pictures were taken while I was there with Animal Control. The picture on the left is the back of the residence. You can see the overgrowth of vegetation, all the junk and debris that's laying around. The picture on the right is, once again, in her backyard. You can see the pen, part of the pen here. You can see another, I think there was a dog run back there. And then I've got some more pictures. So on May the 20th, the overgrown vegetation up against the house, junk and debris, picture on the left. She had been mowing portions of the backyard. The picture on the right, you can see the overgrown vegetation, the junk and debris, mostly up against the house and up against the fence, and in areas that anything was laying around, piles of junk, piles of debris, they were all overgrown. In the picture on the right, you can see the shed right there. There's a pen to the left of that shed and a pen to the right of that shed that contain dogs and a lamb. This is a pictometry picture of the property in question taken on January the 5th of this year to give you an aerial overview of the property and the neighbor's property. This is the citation that was issued, citation number 769. It was issued on June the 7th of 2024. I did deliver a copy of the citation to the residence that she stated she was staying at the time. It is the house next door. I did go out to the property yesterday. She has made a lot of improvements to this property also. She did make improvements to the other one, and she has made some improvements to this one. You can see the trailer on the left. She has started to paint the trailer. She has cut down a lot of the vegetation. The picture on the right, same thing. She has started to clean up out front. She's painted the front of the trailer to make improvements. Sorry. I was invited into the neighbor's yard because of the smells that are occurring. The picture on the left is a picture of the backyard. A lot of the debris has been picked up in the backyard. I will say that the picture on the left, the pins that you're seeing, I believe they are part of the neighbor's yard. They're right there on the property line. That picture does contain some chickens and ducks, if I can recall. The picture on the right shows where she had cleaned up quite a bit in the yard. She had cut down all the vegetation that was growing up against the house. She still has quite a bit of debris in the back of her property. The majority of it's been picked up, but there is some left cleaning that needs to be done. This is a picture of the turkey and of the lamb that is up against the neighbor's fence. And if I'm going to go up here and kind of show you where that's at, it is actually this shed right here. The lamb and turkey are right along this neighbor's fence. So they're right there. So I have received several complaints about the smell coming from the area. When I was out there, the turkey and lamb were both making noises. This property is zoned T for residential use. Again, I don't use the zoning ordinance. The zoning ordinance, as far as a violation, is saying that they can't have any animals, but those animals cannot become a nuisance to the neighbors, and I have received complaints on these animals. The property this is a little bit of history. The property has a history of needing to be cleaned up. The owners will clean the property up when notified of a violation, but will not maintain the property on a regular basis. The animals being kept on the property are a nuisance to the neighbors. On my visit on July the 9th, I heard the lamb and turkey making noise. I could also smell the animals. There is still junk and debris on the property that needs to be removed. The fine of $150 as of today has not been paid. Are there any questions?
So, having the animals, is that part of code enforcement's job, or is that part of the animal control?
So it can involve it can be an animal control issue or a code enforcement issue, depending on the ordinance. So the zoning ordinance states that no type of farm animal can be there except for agricultural use, unless there is an agricultural exemption, or which would be 5 acres or more, then they would be allowed to have certain types of farm animals. That's rarely used because I'm more along the lines, are the animals a nuisance? So if someone complains of chickens or turkeys or ducks or roosters, or in this case a lamb, is it a nuisance to the neighbors? And from the complaints I'm getting, these animals are a nuisance to the neighbor. Jim, do you want to?
Well, the other part is that, you have to have 5 acres in order to be considered to be able to use agricultural land for agricultural purposes. And agricultural purposes includes animals that are not necessarily domestic. And this isn't more than 5 acres.
No, this is an acre or less.
So it really does kind of lean towards the issue of whether or not you can have chickens, goats, turkeys, whatever, on land when it's not a permitted use.
I understand that, but is that within our purview, the animal part of it? Now, whether they're a nuisance or not, the smell and everything, but how do you really determine that? I question that. I don't know.
By complaints. And then observation of the code enforcement officer. Animal control was also out there.
Yeah.
So it isn't, I don't think, arbitrary.
I was out there today, and I could smell I was out there yesterday. I could smell the odor. I could hear the lamb. I could hear the turkey. And I could hear other animals, which we'll get into in the next case, on the neighboring. I could hear other animals, but, you could definitely hear them. You could definitely get a smell. And I'm not sure if the neighbors or anyone are here in support of this one, you might want to ask. They said they were going to show up. I don't know. But in animal control, if you read the letter, but again, that was pertaining to the animals, and they were on both properties. If there was 5 acres, then we would be talking, but this is definitely under 5 acres. I think it's an acre or less. So, I think it's a nuisance. It's based off my.
You issued the citation based on your observation that it's a nuisance.
Any other questions?
Is there anyone here in support of this citation? Okay. Can you do this? Or do you want me to do this? Okay, I want you to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
And your name and address?
My name is Denise Anderson. I live at 2203 West Highway 22 in Crestwood.
Please.
Okay. My husband and I own the property that adjoins the backside of Harvest Drive in Centerfield Heights. So if you turn in Harvest Drive and go to the right, beginning at the 3rd trailer and then going all the way down to Creekside Drive, we own all that property behind the mobile homes. And then we also own on the other side of the creek that is north of the mobile homes on Creekside Lane. My husband was unable to come today, so I've got some notes to cover things to be sure we don't forget anything. First, I appreciate the opportunity to speak at this meeting. And our issue is absolutely the nuisance. And this impacts our quality of life when we go to walk on our property. So I've just got some points I'm going to bring up, and a lot of them have been said from the code enforcement officer. But this is where we're coming from. The trash is not limited to their yards. It comes onto our property too. The expansion of some of these structures are not always approved, and they're very close to our property line. And we deal with the consequences of the junk, the debris, the trash, the smell, and the noise. So the view I see from my property, again, is on the back side. I'm not seeing the things on Harvest Drive because I'm not going in Harvest Drive since I live on Highway 22, but this affects us when we walk on our property. And another concern we have is we see the trash and we're concerned about the runoff into the watershed as this goes down to the creek as far as the trash and the animals. So as has already been said, we smell the animals. We hear the noise from the animals too. So the bottom line, we just want to be able to walk on our property and enjoy it, and we hope that the code enforcement board can do something to take some action on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And would the owner like to speak? Is there anyone else here to speak on behalf or against?
I am the owner of this property.
Okay. You've already been sworn in.
I'm the owner of this property.
Okay.
You want me to swear in again?
Nope, you've already been sworn in.
Okay. My lamb was born on March 25th. He isn't very old at all. He does not cry unless he sees me coming out there or somebody, and he thinks, food, I'm getting my bottles, and that's the only time he cries. The turkey hardly ever cries. I've had him for 4 days. The other turkeys pecked his feathers off. He'll be ready for sale in about, I guess, October, November. His feathers already grown in a lot. He does not make any noise. There is no smell on my property because the lamb used to just sleep in the house in a kennel, and then we'd take him out and we'd play with him in the yard, and the kids would run around and we'd play with him. We'd take him for walks. He is registered as an emotional support animal. So the paperwork, I left it in my car. The turkey's not. He's just getting his feathers in. He's just getting better feathers because my grandson will sell him for about $150. They pretty good money. So that's his ag teacher got him involved in chickens and things. So so I told him to bring the best turkey up, the more the one you could sell. As far as debris in my yard, I have never had a refrigerator outside. I've never had a stove outside. I've never had any of those things that he said I had outside. The only reason I have that shed is because I ordered it for a playhouse for my granddaughter. And she wanted to put all her toys and stuff. And then after the toys went in it, the camping stuff went in it. And after the camping went in it, the lamb's food went in it. So it's full.
Okay.
It's full.
Thank you.
There is, we got a couple bales of hay to scatter around for the lamb. There is no smell. I'd take any of you back there and let you just take a big breath because there is no smell. He is not that old. And his pen actually you just have to sweep it because they're little pellets. And so there's absolutely no smell. I have one dog which I saved from somebody who was beating her to death. She was already bleeding up. My turn to talk. I have one dog back there. She's got her shots license, what have you. Because I saved her and I don't want her. Anybody can have her. I'm getting rid of her. So you can't accuse me of having, well, I have two now, I guess, because I have Buddy, but he's not really mine. He's my grandson's. We share him. I pay vet bills, and he takes care of them, and he walks them, and that's his good buddy. So I took 2 truckloads of debris out. What you see that he showed you in the back, I don't know how to show that back. It looks like debris, but it's a concrete patio. It has 3 patio tables and chairs on it. It has a garbage can. It has my lawnmower. I just paid $690 to get it fixed, the riding lawnmower. It has a little green tractor. I mean, they got to play with something. We have a trampoline in the backyard. And that probably would have been kept. And I do on the side of my trailer, I have a bicycle, a professional bicycle rack.
Can we get back to just the animals that we're talking about and how you're planning to clean
3
them up?
animals. 4 animals. I got a dog in the front, a rescue dog in the back that needs a home. I got a turkey and a lamb. Lamb's emotional support animal. My doctor said I should get another animal. I didn't really want one, but my little dog had died. It was my husband's dog, and it finally died. And I haven't had an animal for a year. So that my doctor says what would help you calm down and help your blood pressure and all this good stuff was to get something little. It's not going to grow much bigger than it is now, and it's a lamb.
Okay.
And the turkey is just getting his feathers back until he's to be sold.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll let you have a seat.
Well, don't you want to hear about all the junk I have, or?
Well, you said you've been cleaning that up.
Yeah, I've cleaned it up. And like I say, I don't know that I'm not allowed to have patio tables. The people next door, when he goes next door and
We're talking
takes
about
pictures.
trash, not picnic tables. Let's go ahead and
Well,
let you
that's
have a
what
seat.
he's showing. So do I have to get rid of all that? You saw it on the back porch that he says. You saw it on the video. He says I can't have it. Now he's saying I can't have it.
Okay.
What can I have?
Let's just let you have a seat.
Well,
We're
I
talking about
need
debris, those kinds of
instructions.
things.
I need instructions on how or what I'm supposed to keep my backyard. I need instructions. I can't, just like the other piece of property. You told me to do this, this, and this, and I did it. And I didn't want to take the poison ivy off of my garage because it does keep kids out. Because if they got poison ivy, I know where they got it.
Okay, we're going to let you have a seat.
And, well, I want to let you know that this whole, it's just not me. I don't see any of my other neighbors here.
Well,
Were they not
we're working with your citation today.
Okay, well, because he has gone around the whole neighborhood and did this, it causes a war. And you know who they think's telling on them? They think I'm telling on them.
Mrs. Hone.
So I have gotten attacked.
Well, I'm
My
very sorry for all of
grandchildren
that.
have gotten
I'm going to
attacked.
ask you to sit down because,
I don't want to hear the truth.
well,
And so that's not a fair hearing. If you can't hear the whole thing, you're not able to make a better decision. You can find me the $200, $300, whatever he said. He said $350.
well, our
and
guidelines are to work
$400
with the
a day.
citation. And that's
So-
what we're going to work with. So I'm going
And
to ask you to
y'all
sit
can
down.
find me that and all that stuff, but that's not going to help our neighborhood. And these neighbors are hot.
I'm very sorry about
And
that.
you'll see a lot. Leslie, show them that one picture of that one house. Can't even see the house.
I'm
the
sorry.
grass is this high. The trees are this high. Can't see the house. And they have junk cars in there. And the crash-up derby cars, there's several houses. I don't mind them having crash-up derby cars because this is how those kids grew up, and now they're adults. And they don't like being told, you can't have your hobby anymore. I'm not here just speaking for me. I'm speaking for the whole neighborhood.
Well, ma'am.
And another thing he said that was not true, my fence is not next to that lady's yard. It's 3 feet away.
Well,
My
that's something that
fence.
you all will need to determine at another time. The citation says that this, so we're going to work with that. Okay.
I want to just add something.
Please
One of the things that Adam has done in multiple areas of Oldham County is we don't take one piece of property, we go in and we look at entire neighborhoods and say in all these neighborhoods, everybody should come into compliance, not just one. So that's what he's doing on Harvest Drive. He initiated this a while back, sent out the letters that he showed you in his presentation, went out to every property owner where there was a violation and said, look, let's all get together and clean up. This case is just about this property, like you said.
I got a question.
Okay.
I'm confused. Adam's saying there's a smell, and you're saying that the owner's saying there's a smell. I'm confused. I don't know where's the smell coming from.
Well, she's saying there's not a smell.
So what's the?
It's based on, you can ask Adam whether he has made an observation of any odors that he would associate with this property or
So
not.
it's associated. The smell is associated with the citation.
So when I was there yesterday, I definitely heard the turkey. I mean, I'm going to go back to the
He's
picture.
asking about odors, not hearing them.
The picture that I took. So right here. So when I was there yesterday, these pictures were taken from the neighbor's property right where she was. I definitely heard the turkey. I definitely heard the lamb making noises. As to say, I definitely smelled something. I don't know if I was smelling. I haven't smelled a lot of turkeys. I don't know if it was a turkey that I was smelling. Yeah. And there's a lot of other animals on the neighboring property. But standing right here where I was at, I definitely could smell the farm animal. And that was the complaint that I was getting from the neighbors, was the smell when they walked out back. And I'd like to show the overview. So the complaint I got, this is the pool. This is where the turkey and the lamb is being kept. They complained about constant noise when they were out back at their pool area. And they complained, and one of the complaints was the smell in that area. Now, whether it's coming from other animals that were kept over here, and there's more animals close by back on this property.
Okay,
You can definitely hear them in the area, and if I'm getting complaints on turkeys making noise and lambs making noise, and I go to a property and I find a turkey and a lamb, and when I walk up there and that's what I see, that's where I'm gonna, and I see them making noise. I was standing right there.
So that's part of your citation, then, right?
Well, the
we also-
citation was actually issued for, and this, so the citation was actually issued back in June.
Okay.
When I went out there in June, or when I went out there in May with animal control, the smell was not quite as bad as it was even yesterday when I went out there. You could smell a little bit, but it wasn't really bad, but it was still kind of cool outside. The heat hadn't got there. And I think if you read animal control, He even said this smell is going to get a lot worse as the heat gets there.
So Adam, in your packet that you prepared, there's a letter from Animal Control Officer Cheatham.
But, and go ahead.
I'd encourage you to take a moment and read this. Because this is part of the evidence in your packet. And just read it.
But aren't we also looking at the issue that these type of animals should not be in a piece of property that's under 5 acres?
Well, that's not what the citation was
Oh, it's not what it's
addressed.
brought at all. Got it.
It was addressed as a nuisance.
The animals are creating a nuisance to the neighbors. And
Right.
these were the animals that were specifically brought to my attention as being a nuisance to them.
They shouldn't be there for under 5 acres, but that's not the
That's not
citation.
this citation. Okay.
And
Let them read for a minute.
Wow.
And Adam, I don't know if we can switch over to the overhead. Did the owner of the property get a copy of this report?
which report?
This thing from
I do not
Officer-
know if animal control sent that
Well,
to
then why
them.
don't you give her a copy? Here.
I have a question about the animal control. Who is L. Ransdell?
Who do what?
It says it was recommended to L. Ransdell to decrease.
So,
Okay.
and that's what I was saying. So Ransdale is the neighbor to the left.
Okay.
And the animals were in between. So let me go back to an aerial. So the animals, when we went there, so this is Ransdale's property, which is the next case. The animals were in general located right in this area. There's more animals over here. There's some down here. There's a whole lot more on this property than on this property.
So the animal control report reflects both properties or just one? Because I guess I'm confused. We're being told to read it for this case, but yet it cites people's who
We
are
were
not
so
part of this case.
When me and animal control were out there, the turkey was not here, and
Well,
the lamb.
let me just stop you for a second. There's also the same letter in the next case.
Well, but they're both directed to. Yes, it was one letter sent to me from
Well,
animal
you
control.
put them in each of these cases.
Because-
So just stick with this case for this moment,
Correct.
that it's in this file.
Okay,
There was-
then I ask a question. Who is L. Ransdell, and how does that apply to this case?
It
El
doesn't.
Ransdale is her daughter that lives next door. She's living at
Okay.
El Ransdale's.
In this citation, it's just the homes.
I understand that.
And then
I
we'll go to
understand
the
that.
Ransdales.
When I went out there with animal control, the turkey was not here. I got a call when I went out yesterday. They had moved the turkey onto her mom's property, so now the turkey was staying here. When I went out with animal control, the lamb was taken into the house. Okay, the lamb is now caged up beside the neighbor's
I got all
property.
that.
Okay.
What I was asking, we were encouraged to read this. And in doing so, I had a question as to why there's somebody's name in here that doesn't pertain to this case. That's what I was asking. Because if you read this, it may or may not, 702, yeah. I mean, I don't know that I see any 4811 harvest. Okay.
So is the question is this letter relevant to both properties? You've heard him say, and I'm sure they'll testify, that it's a mother and a daughter that lives next door to each other. Odors cross property lines. The bottom line is, if you stand out there and you smell an odor, is this relevant in this case? Because this is the report from animal control.
Right, I got that. For animal control on a different piece of property.
Well, Adam, does that letter apply to
The letter doesn't.
4809?
This letter doesn't say anything about 4809.
Animal control was out there for Ransdale's property. When he sent me the letter, it was pertaining to Ransdale's property. He also walked Miss Hone's property.
Okay.
We started with that property and we ended on Ransdale's property.
I got it. I understand all that. But we were asked to read this as it applies to this case, and this says nothing about this case.
I put
this applies to the next case, I understand.
And I put this in this packet. The reason why you all received a copy of it is because the animals that were spoke of in that letter were actually on the property line. They were right where my icon is. There's a big cage right there. If you go and look at this photo right here, this cage right here is on the property line.
Which property is that on?
It's on both properties. So if you, and I don't know exactly
Does it
the property
straddle
line.
the line?
It's part of it's on Ransdale's properties, part of it's on Hone's property. And I've got a better picture if you look down the center of the. So if you look,
All I'm pointing out is this letter doesn't say anything about 4811.
I understand.
I got another question. Are you done? Is he done?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
I mean, she was saying that she had two dogs, three dogs, one passed recently, and then but this report says there's approximately 30 chickens and 10 to 15 ducks.
That is the Ransdale property next door.
That's the next door.
So I'm sorry that I just thought that was part of this case because I saw it in your report on this property.
So it doesn't pertain to this.
That is the property next door. And again, a lot of these animals are kept on both properties. They move them from property to property. The day that we in animal control went out there, the majority of the animals were on Ransdale's property. There's also pens, as you can see in my original, and maybe I didn't make that clear, in some of my earlier photographs, you can see and that's why I pointed this out. On Miss Hone's property, there was also areas to contain animals. So the animals, the day that we went out there, the majority of them were pinned up on, all of the turkeys were even on Ransdale's property. There was not a turkey on Miss Hone's property. When I went out there yesterday,
Right.
one of the turkeys had been moved to Miss Hone's property. So
Yes.
the properties are side by side, and
Right.
if you look at the aerial photographs, you can see.
But the evidence submitted by
Okay.
the Oldham County or by Animal Control doesn't say anything about 4811.
Correct. It's specifically to the neighbor's property. And I would like to say Ms. Hone has done a lot on the cleanup from the date that the citation was issued up until I was out there yesterday, but there was still more that needed to be done as far as cleanup. And something, I guess I've brought it to you all. Is there a nuisance violation based off the neighbor's complaint that I spoke to her yesterday regarding the smell of the lamb and the turkey and the noise that they were making? And that's the issue. A lot of cleanup has taken place. She has done a lot on her property. There's a little bit more that needs to be done to bring it fully into compliance. But we do have to figure out what are you all going to do in regards to the animals that are on her property.
If I may say something, why does animal control, since they definitely have control over the animals, doesn't matter who they belong to if they're not allowed, why aren't they the ones just getting rid of the animals?
So animal control deals with barking dogs. It was brought as a code enforcement issue based off of being a nuisance. So animal control might say you can have a rooster, but our ordinance says if it becomes a nuisance to the neighbors, you cannot have that rooster unless you have over 5 acres. So it was brought to code enforcement that it was a nuisance to the neighbors because of the animals making noise and that the animals smell. It wasn't taken to animal control. I took animal control out there with me because I knew what I was dealing with as far as the number of animals and to get the letter that he did right. but it was brought to my office as it being a lot of junk, debris, overgrown properties with animals making noise. I mean, they don't have over 5 acres. There's animals there that smell and make noise according to the neighbors.
You are entitled, and you only have a couple of minutes. Because I don't think she had animals.
In the LaGrange City Ordinance, it says,
Well, let me stop you. You're not in the city of LaGrange, so it's not relevant.
because you're allowed to have 6 chickens.
Well, again, that's
in
if
the
you were in the
ordinance.
city limits, and I'm sorry to,
Animal control.
yeah, but you're not in the city limits, so it's
that's
not
irrelevant.
relevant.
Okay, if it's not relevant, you can't
Okay,
speak. I'm
in
sorry.
the county, we don't live in the city. There is no Harvest Heights. There is no ordinances. There's no ordinances in the county.
You live in Oldham County,
Huh?
Yes, they do.
and we have ordinances in Oldham
Well,
County.
I'll tell you this, when I went to animal control, the man sat there for 30 minutes looking up to see if he could find an ordinance in Oldham County that said you could not have animals or chickens or ducks. He says, honestly, he referred back to the city. He says, the city says you can have 6. We're not in the city.
Ma'am.
We're in the county. We are in the county.
I understand that, and we're working on the ordinance that we
There is
have.
no ordinance.
There is.
Well, let me
Yes, there is.
Let me see.
It's in the zoning ordinance where you have to have 5 acres in order to have agricultural uses. I said that early. Well, you need to ask the zoning office, not the code enforcement. I'm not,
Well,
we,
and
you
Ma'am.
can just ask us. We'll show it to you. That's all you need.
right now, we're talking about a nuisance, not a zoning. So let's go back to the nuisance and work on that, okay? No, you're not listening. Please.
A turkey does not make a noise unless you approach it. The people next door who are complaining have 6 dogs.
Ma'am,
Can't even walk down my
Ma'am.
driveway all night long.
we're talking about the turkey and the lamb.
Okay,
Let's
so
sit
I
down,
have to
please.
file charges against her.
Well,
Okay, Adam. go
you'll have to
find
call the
them.
code
Got a
enforcement
refrigerator
officer.
on their porch, a grill on their back porch. They got all this junk in their yard, and they have dogs barking all hours of the night.
But I had to do your job all day.
So y'all need to,
Good, too. I'm so sorry.
I mean,
'cause
I don't
had that
like
Tuesday.
noises either. I don't like noise
Okay.
in my backyard.
Let's get back,
We got 2 more to go.
let's get back to what we're supposed to be working on.
Adam, I would like to have an ordinance. We need a copy of it. I
We
need
have
a
2
copy
more?
of the county ordinance.
Okay,
One more.
one more. Okay, hold up. We've got to stop this right now, okay? Let's get back to what we're supposed to be doing. We're the only ones who get to talk right now, okay? Sorry. Okay. So, Mr. Judy, I'm going to work you today. Do we have something we want to say? Okay, we're talking about the nuisance complaint. On number 769.
That's 769, yes.
And the nuisance complaint was vegetation, junk, trash, and farm animals.
I'll make a motion that the citation issued on June the 7th, 2024, citation number 769, was properly issued.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Okay, at this time, we have a motion on the floor and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay, and you said nay, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir.
So you don't think that the citation was properly issued? That's the question. Okay.
I don't think there was evidence of all the animals presented. That's my position on it. There was not evidence that all those animals were presented. And I didn't see evidence that said that they couldn't have any animals, and we don't know which animals are which, really. That's my feeling. I'm not saying that they weren't there. I'm just saying that I didn't see evidence that they were at that particular place.
Okay.
Okay. All right, for the nuisance ordinance,
I make a motion that it's a violation of Oldham County nuisance ordinance under the condition and use of the premises is detrimental to the property of others or causes or tends to cause substantial diminution. One of these times I'll get that word
You got it.
correct. In the value of their properties in the community, the storage, examples could be the storage of any of the following: junk, lumber, limbs, trash, debris, appliances, containers, furniture, and equipment.
Second.
okay. We have a second. All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
No, I didn't say anything.
You didn't say anything? No. One way or the other?
I vote aye. I didn't say, I vote aye.
I said aye on your
Oh, I'm
second
sorry.
motion.
I can't hear out of that ear, so
I'm hoarse, but
just checking. Okay.
I'll make a motion that the property owner be given 30 days to get the property into compliance, and that the fine be held in abeyance contingent upon the property coming into compliance.
Okay.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Ms. Hone, what we've just decided is that if you continue to clean up the property, you have 30 days to get it finalized, get it cleaned up. Then the fine of what, 150? Will be held in abeyance, which means if you do it within 30 days, you don't pay. Yes, ma'am?
Can you give me a list of what needs to be done? Do I get rid of my patio table?
Ma'am, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not the person to talk to. You're going to need to talk to the code enforcement officer. He will tell you if he wants to tell you specific things to keep. Typically, that's not what happens. We're talking about debris, trash, you know, those kinds of things, and you know what trash is. So we want to clean that stuff up. Ma'am?
There's no trash on my property. There are.
Well, there's a few little weeds, a few little bushes, and there you go. You got 30 days. 30 days, get it cleaned up, and then if you do that, he's going to come back out and check it again. If you've done all that, then you don't have to pay that fine. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. No, ma'am. We're done. You will.
So our final case is citation number 770. Citation number 770 of 4811 Harvest Drive, Crestwood, Kentucky. The owner on record is Leslie Ransdale of 4811 Harvest Drive. This hearing was not requested. This is the general location of the property in Centerfield Heights off of Highway 22. This is the violation of the Oldham County nuisance ordinance, lumber, junk, trash, debris, abandoned, discarded, or unused objects, equipment such as automobiles, furniture, stoves, freezers, cans, or other containers, and duty of maintenance of private property. In March of 24, this is the letter that I sent out to all residents of Centerfield Heights. 4811 Harvest Drive. This property has a long history with violations. In 2017, a nuisance violation of vegetation, junk, trash, and debris. 2019, a nuisance violation for junk, trash, debris, inoperable vehicle. In 2022, a nuisance violation for junk, trash, and debris. In 2023, a structure was being constructed without a permit. It was applied for. They did come in and get a permit for that structure. But as of today, and our permit clerk was out, otherwise I would have had the reason why it wasn't approved. But as of today, that permit has not been approved. The structure has been built. In 2024, code enforcement received several complaints on the property located at 4811 Harvest Drive. There's overgrown vegetation, junk, debris scattered around the property. Animals are being kept on the property that are making noise and smell. Such animals, the turkeys, chickens, ducks, and roosters. On May the 20th, I, along with animal control, visited the property to talk to the homeowner about the complaints and discuss the violations. On several past occasions, I have reached out to the homeowner to work on bringing the property into compliance. You all did have a copy of the animal control report. You have already looked at it. Here's a few pictures from the current case. On June the 12th, I was out there and took some pictures of the front of the property. On the picture on the left, you can see there's vegetation, junk, and debris. The picture on the right shows overgrown vegetation, junk, and debris. And again, if you look at the right picture, all the way on the right was the neighbor's property. We're more along from the fence over. On May the 20th, when I visited the property with permission, with animal control, we walked the property with the homeowners. These are some pictures that I took. The back of the property, the picture on the left, you've got junk, debris on the property with the vegetation overgrown. The picture on the right shows junk, debris, and trash scattered around the backyard. And there's some pins for animals you can see in the picture. These are some pictures that took of the chickens and roosters. The picture on the left shows the chickens, roosters, junk, and debris that's scattered all around the property. The picture on the right is pictures of chickens, ducks, junk, and debris scattered around on the property. This is a pictometry picture of the property from January the 5th of 2024. I wanted to particularly show this when I was out there with animal control, and I don't have pictures of this, about this area. It really drops off, and there's like a pathway that goes to a creek right here. It's a pretty steep incline. There was a pen of animals right about here to go along with the other two pictures that I showed. There was a pen right here that had some animals in it. And then back here is the structure that they built that didn't have a permit. That structure has, when I was on the neighbor's property several months ago, I took pictures. In that structure, you do see there was turkeys, ducks, chickens. I'm not sure if there was ducks. There was turkeys, chickens, and roosters on that one. I took some pictures of that. I could not find them in the case file, so I don't have pictures of them. They were taken several months ago with the property, with the lady that was here that has the farm that backs up to her. The picture to the right, again, taken January the 5th by pictometry. You can see just the general amount of scattering of trash, junk, and debris along the property. Citation number 770 was issued on June the 7th of 2024. The citation was hand-delivered and posted on the doorway at the property address. I did go out there yesterday and I took some pictures. Some cleanup has taken place on the front of the property. Again, it's hard for me to get pictures of the back of these properties. The other pictures that I showed from the day that I issued the citation was because they were home and we did walk the property with animal control. So these two pictures are taken from the front of the property showing a little bit of cleanup has taken place. These are pictures. The picture to the left, you can see that the animal pens are still there. It looks like a lot of the junk and debris has been picked up from what I could see. There is still some that remains. The picture on the right, looking down in between the two houses, you can see that they put up a fence. It's hard to see what all's back there. So the property has a history of needing to be cleaned up. The owners will clean the property partially when notified of a violation, but will not maintain the property on a regular basis. The animals being kept on the property are a nuisance to the neighbors. On my visit on yesterday, I heard turkeys and roosters from several houses away. I was actually taking pictures at another house about 7 or 8 properties away, and I could hear the turkeys, the roosters. I could hear them making noise that far away. There is still junk and debris on the property that needs removed, and the fine of $150 as of today has not been paid. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Is there anyone here on behalf of the owner? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Supporting the citation, I'm sorry. Can you please come forward? I'm sorry. And she's already been.
Okay, again, my name is Denise Anderson. I share a lot of the same concerns from the previous citation. Do you want me to run through them real quickly again?
For this case, sure.
Thank you. So again, my issue is it being a nuisance for me when we walk on our property, for my husband and myself. Trash is not limited to the yards. It comes onto our property. The structure that was pointed out is very close to my property line. That's the one that's being referred to that does not have a permit. And again, trash, debris, junk. I was back there as recently as Monday night, July 8th. I guarantee you I can smell animals, and I could hear the lamb, the turkeys, the roosters. I don't know all my bird animals very well, but you can absolutely hear them on my side of my property. Again, the view, I can see this citation, 4811, excuse me. I can see this property better from my property than the other one. But when I'm standing there, I don't know which one the noises are coming from or the smells are coming from, okay? Again, we're concerned about the trash with the watershed because it is so close to the creek. And as was mentioned, there's a branch that runs down between the mobile home and my property line, and that goes directly into the creek. So again, we smell the animals, we hear the animals, and I just want to be able to walk on my property and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now. Yes, ma'am. Need you to raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, first of all, I don't know exactly where she lives on 22, but completely behind my house is nothing but woods. So I don't know how she can even see anything. I don't know how far you got to go to here for my chickens and my turkeys. Like we said before, we've checked with animal control. There's never been an ordinance on what you can have. The whole reason why we started it was my son got into it at school. He's in agriculture, and his teacher got him interested in with the hatching chickens and turkeys, and so he's hatched most of these things. And ever since my son has gotten into this hobby, his grades have improved. He's got learning disabilities, but his grades have improved. It's given him a reason to want to do stuff because he has this hobby now of raising chickens, turkeys, and ducks. I've never given anything in hand saying how many I can have, how many I can't have. I've just got verbal, and that was the last time. He's like, oh, well, you can have 6 chickens, 6 ducks. Well, I never even got that in writing. That was just hearsay, what he said I could have. We have removed, in one of the pictures that showed one of the coops, that coop, we have removed it to a farm and have taken a dozen chickens, 4 roosters away. So I'm trying, to decrease the population because, it's a hobby for my kids too. So y'all are trying to say I can't let my kids have an animal and have a hobby, especially if it's going to help them educational wise and just throughout life, period. I don't understand all that. The people behind us, as far as them coming up to my property line, they're hunting out there, shooting, whatever, and that comes towards my house too. I've found deer that have been shot literally in my backyard at the bottom of the hill. And, of course they can't get it because now it's on my property. So there's nothing but woods behind there. Nobody can even see my place from behind. And yes, in the past, I've had problems about where in the front it was grown up too high, this or that. And I've always taken care of it. I've always been told my backyard has nothing to do with the front. I don't belong part of your FHA or not FHA, but your housing regulation thing. I purchased my property in 1999. I've been living there ever since. I paid it off about 5 years ago. It's now my property. I own it. Adam has now been purchasing properties that people have died in on the property. It hadn't even been listed up, and he's purchasing these properties. And now I feel like because he's moving in, buying all these properties that he's not liking, because I have kids and I have toys and I have bicycles and my kids have animals. I mean, what's the big deal? Kids can't have stuff anymore. I mean, I grew up on a farm and I grew up riding bikes and we had chickens, turkeys, ducks. We had it all, you know, and now you're trying to say that I can't give my kids what my parents were able to give me. And that's wrong. I own my property. It's my property. How can you tell me what I can and cannot have on it?
Well,
I'm not part of this HA, this home association thing.
but you are part of the county.
I'm part of the county, but I'm not part of anything that says that I have to be up to par. I never signed off on anything like that. It was never given to me to sign off on anything like that. It's ridiculous. I feel like we're being targeted. And, of course, those pictures look horrible. But I don't know. He said those were taken back in January. It doesn't look nothing like that. They talked about my sewer. So I had somebody come out. They did exploratory. It cost me over $8,000. My conjunction box was damaged, so I had to have that completely replaced. I even have pictures from the guy who came out and did it, Frank Enterprises. He's the one that came out and took care of that. So the odor maybe could have been from where my conjunction box was damaged, and I have that replaced. I paid over $8,000 for that.
Well, we also need to talk about, you've been cleaning up trash and your farm animals.
Yes. I've already been working on that, and I work full time. I work night shift. I sleep during the day. So like by the time I get off Saturday morning, I'm not going to be up early because guess what? I worked all week. Saturdays are my days that I recoup. I sleep a little bit later if I can. Mm-hmm. My mom babysits for me, and he kept saying that they put the papers on the door of the place that she was staying at. Well, guess what? She doesn't stay there. She babysits for me there. That's my place. She doesn't live there. Okay. So.
All right. Thank you very much. Anything else you want to add?
I'm really upset about all this. I feel like I've been picked on, and he's showing this, but he's not showing other houses where.
Well, think about this as your citation. There will be others if there need to be others, but this is just.
I mean, I don't see anybody else here. And the lady who's complaining, where does she live at on 22? Because 22 goes down that way. Harvest Drive goes down this way. There's nothing but woods. I can't see her house.
Maybe the two of you need to meet each other.
So she can't see my house.
Okay.
Well, obviously, yeah, she needs to introduce herself then instead of just complaining. I mean, and she can't even come down there. It's all woods. Where are they walking at? They're not walking nowhere. That's a lie.
Thank you.
But thank you.
Okay.
Can't walk through the woods, especially when you're that old. I don't care. I'm sorry. It's very upsetting. All of this is very upsetting.
Okay, Mr. Reed, let's get this
like
thing
I'm
going.
being targeted, and I don't like it. And I think next time it comes, I'm gonna bring them here.
I just want to remind the board that, again, this is part of a neighborhood cleanup. There was a letter sent out. Adam showed you that in all of his presentations. Ma'am, it's time to stop talking. And so it isn't targeting anyone. It's that there has been successes, and like Cindy said, if there's other citations to be issued, they'll be issued.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that the citation issued on June the 7th, 2024, citation number 770 that was issued to the property owner was issued properly.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a second? Okay. We have a second, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay.
I'll make a motion that it was a violation of the Oldham County nuisance ordinance for the condition and use of the premises are detrimental to the property and others and causes or tends to cause substantial diminution of the value of the property in the community.
I second.
Okay, we have a second. We have a motion on the floor and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that the property owner be given 30 days to get the property into compliance, and that the fine be held for 30 days from today in abeyance.
I got a question.
Typically, there's
I'll
a
s-
motion and a second before you have discussion.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I have a question. It's just whenever she's ready.
Okay.
The question is, can we include the smell into that last motion, that the smell is removed? 30 days to remove the smell.
What smell?
The smell that was,
I think that, like we've been discussing, it's up to the code enforcement officer to determine if there were any new code citations that could be issued.
because I mean, we list all these different things in the motion, but can we add smell in there? Because this is the one that was the most,
I don't think it's necessary to get real specific. The remedial order is basically get in compliance with the ordinance, or after 30 days, you're going to get another citation, I think is the message there.
Yeah.
So if a smelly goat or whatever is a nuisance, then if she has a smelly goat, she gets rid of it in 30 days, or she gets another citation. So I don't think it has to be that specific.
but it's specific already.
Well, the finding that a violation occurred has to be fairly specific, but the agreement for no further citations for 30 days on certain conditions doesn't necessarily have to be, because it's implied that overall compliance with the ordinance is what we're looking for.
Okay, I just want to make sure the smell goes away. That's what the goal
Right.
is. Yeah.
Right.
Right. So I mean, Adam's got he's the sword,
Right.
and he's the one that has in charge of making sure the smell goes away. I just want to make sure that we had 30 days and that we acknowledge the smell.
Well, another difficult element to this layer of it is that she's disputing that there's a smell. So
Right. I don't know. And that's what I had that question earlier. I mean, I'm confused because one person's saying there's smell, the other person's saying not.
well, and that is a fundamental role of the board, is to decide which side you believe, and if is it relevant to the citation. If you believe the property owner, then you maybe you can't find that there was a violation. But I'm not suggesting that in this case. I'm just saying that's the role of the board, is to hear both sides and then make a decision.
And I asked that question, and I never got an answer back. Was that smell part of that citation in the previous one? And I never heard an answer back. Was the smell part of that citation? But then it was we came back and said the letter had 30 was this letter that was given from the animal control was for this case, not the other case. And now we got 30 chickens and how all these different animals, and this is where the smell is. So still, the question is the smell there? So,
Well, I can't answer that.
I have a question. Is it not just the smell, but it's the farm animals? So now we don't determine what a farm animal is?
Well, I don't think that. I think that the citation was written on the theory of nuisance, which could mean even a domestic animal can create a nuisance. So,
But is a domestic animal a farm animal?
no.
Okay, because that's what that says.
I have a question
Well-
too. Is this not inclusive of more than just animals? From the testimony and the evidence that was presented and the pictures that we currently have that I'll give you were in January, but that's what we were given. There is, from my perspective, it's, it's not just animals.
I certainly think that the evidence showed more than just a problem with animals. And I think that the motion to find a violation included more information than just animals.
I guess what I'm asking is, as we look at this, 30 days to clean the property. So,
That's the reason why I said, can we add smell?
My backyard.
That's the reason.
Nothing but mud, like dirt, because they dug up my
Please.
whole
That's the reason
backyard.
why
I understand.
wanted to add smell. So, I mean, if we don't add smell, we'll just be back here doing this again next month.
and we
Yeah.
might be.
Well, you can't see my property through the woods. I don't know how you can smell my property through the woods. That just doesn't make sense.
So where are we procedurally? Is that there's been a motion made, but
And a second, and we're in discussion.
and really, I think the question was a motion to amend.
That's correct.
So I would treat that as a motion to amend the motion for a remedial order to include other things in the ordinance.
So in order to do that, procedurally, the person that made the second has to agree to the amendment, and then the person that made the motion has to agree to it in order to amend it. So if you're going to consider amending something, you need to actually make rather than a question, a potential amendment.
Okay, learning.
Okay, so we've amended. You've
Well,
amended.
no, he
Oh.
hasn't.
Oh.
He's asked a question. You're still
Oh.
in discussion. So after discussion, do you want to suggest an amendment and see if it carries?
Yeah, I suggest a amendment to the motion to add smell to the original motion.
Well, you gotta, you gotta say more than that. What are you asking? To eliminate the smell? Who's to test it? You know, what causes the smell? I mean, it's a really vague subject.
Yeah, I
I
recommend.
may not
to-
be able to smell anything where you can, so you gotta, how do you mitigate the smell? You know, I mean, you can't just say, we'll get rid of the smell, and again, they go out on a rainy day, it smells like the forest.
Yeah, I would just recommend that the amendment be amended to include the smell that was originally part of the citation.
So then it's up to the person who made the second, which is Dewey, correct? On whether you will accept an amendment.
I will not accept an amendment for the smell because I don't think that we can prove that.
Okay.
I don't think evidence has been presented to prove that. It may be there, but I haven't seen the evidence myself to prove the smell.
Okay, but
Well,
Jim, he didn't make the motion.
no. Robert's rules, I think the person that seconded it goes first to determine
And then
whether.
anybody can say
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess just figure out, do you guys want to make an amendment or not?
Smell, this is my son, and.
Well, we're done
sorry.
with testimony. Stop. We're done with testimony. No, we're done with testimony. We're done with testimony.
Yeah, you don't care what my son says.
Do you all want to make an amendment like that or not? I guess just say out
I
loud.
don't think it's necessary because
Well-
if we do, then we need to do it for each individual thing. I think it's better left without any
So-
specifics.
So.
I do not accept the
I'm fine
amendment.
with that.
Yeah. So you don't have support to add it. I guess whether Robert's rules or
'Cause
whatever,
then
there's
we'll
no
just be back here
amendment.
next month. You know, if
Maybe
the
not.
smell is continuing, we'll be back here next month. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the original
The
motion
original was
stands.
30 days to clean the property.
But I would think you'd have to have a complaint for more than.
Okay,
Man,
we-
we're done. Please, you need to pay attention to etiquette here. We're done with testimony.
Okay, we had a motion on the floor. We have a second. And the motion is 30 days to clean up the property. What about,
And that the fine be held in abeyance
okay,
for those 30 days.
fine.
Which my understanding means if it's cleaned up and it meets the code, that the fine does not have to be paid.
Okay. All right, we have a motion on the floor. We have a second. Any other discussion? Okay, I'm going to go for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries. Okay, so now here's what happens. You have 30 days from today's date to finish cleaning up your property,
Do a motion to adjourn.
okay? And if you do so, then your fine will be held in abeyance if in 30 days the property's cleaned up.
Okay, are y'all like trying to attack my backyard too, because you can't even see from the front?
Yes, clean up your yard.
I mean, it's just mud back there from where.
We are asking you to get rid of all the debris, all the,
I've never been attacked over my backyard before. This is the first time ever.
Madam Chairman,
we're done.
I make a
I
motion that
know.
we
I
adjourn.
appreciate it. Thank you.
I second the motion.
Thank you.
I need
Okay,
my copies of my papers for today, because I'm late for work.
I'm sorry. What do you need?
I need the copies of my papers, whatever, for today, because I have to go to work, and I'm already late.
Okay, we're not going to be able to get them for you today.
Okay, how soon can we get those?
Yeah, they'll be sent out to you.
Okay, now we're to old business.
Do y'all have any paperwork she can get, for her work?
Oh, that's what you're asking, like a letter that you were here? We don't usually do that. I don't know what to tell you.
Watch on YouTube.
You
Would
can
it
watch
be?
it, you could,
There's a copy of the agenda out there.
Yes.
oh, there you go.
Take the agenda.
Take the
'cause it
agenda.
has your
Good idea.
property address, the date, and everything on it. It's
It's
right there.
it's on the table
There should
outside
be
the
extra
door.
copies.
Go out on the table out there.
Thank you. All right.
Just that.
That was a civics lesson, wasn't it?
So we're on old business. I'm going to start off with Amos Ashcraft is here. This is regarding the property at 8325 West Highway 22. You all heard this case last month. The final order that you all issued, you gave him, you voted to uphold the fine of $150 and gave him 30 days to have the property in compliance or to continue citations after that 30 days. So that 30 days has ended. He has contacted me. He asked if he could come today to talk to you all. So here's a picture of the property to refresh your all's memory. It was an abandoned house. I was up there today. He has cleaned up some of the junk and debris that was laying around back. It looks like he's starting to try to mow the property a little bit, and he wanted to come in today to talk to y'all because I know last month at the hearing he was not able to, he tried to make it but couldn't. I think he had a reason why he couldn't make it. So if you all would hear him today.
Not mine.
4 minutes.
I know it's been so go, guys.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge? Thank you.
I know it's been so go on this house. My uncle just passed away.
I can't hear you. You're going to have to speak
About
into the mic.
3 months, about 3 years ago. And plus, I'm just freshly getting out of prison. I'll just be
Did you
honest
give us
with
your name and address?
Amos Ashcraft. I don't know the address.
You don't know your address?
Not right on top of my head, I don't.
Okay.
But, I know it's been so go, but my uncle just passed away 3 years ago, left me the property, which has caught me off guard,
Okay, so what are you asking of us today?
Is to give me more time to get things
More time to
going.
clean it up?
Yeah. Or to do something to the roof, and I want to take the roof off and fix it. It's very bad.
Okay, but you got a final order?
I apologize. I don't think you have the final order in there. That's why I read it. The final order, you all gave him 30 days to have the property. You upheld the fine of $150 and gave him 30 days to have it in compliance or to continue to issue citations. And he's here to ask for time. He was unable to make it. He's here to ask you all for time. I think he had some plans with the property but I'm going to let him talk about what he plans on doing.
Yeah, I got to get some help for one thing. I ain't much of a carpenter, But I got some friends come from Eastern Kentucky down there to help me on it, to get it up, standard, get it looking better, that's for sure.
Okay, so when do you plan to have it done?
I don't know, 30 days or something. But it'll take a while to get the roof off of it and take a while to get back on, you know. That's got to hire some help, you know.
He's asking for an extension.
Yeah, if I heard you correctly, you're asking for an extension of
Yes, sir.
30 days.
Yes, sir.
You think you can get it done in 30 more days?
Yeah, we'll see how much I get done within that 30 days, see if I got it finished or not. So if not, I'll just have to get another 30, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how this works. My first
Well,
time.
it was intended that you would finish it in 30 days.
It's a lot of work.
If we were to make a motion to extend that time period, do we have to do anything to recognize the previous month's action, or can we make a motion to give an extension at this point?
I think you just extend the original final order.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we give him an additional 30 days from today.
I'll second the motion.
I got a question.
Okay?
Sorry. Do you really feel like you can get it done in 30 days?
No, I don't.
I didn't think so. Like, your body language was like, no.
Ain't no way. Because what I want to do is, see the room over on this side, on the right side? I want to take it off and take it back down to the original 2 rooms. See, the back right here is going to be took off, no kitchen area.
Okay.
And that whole side is going to be took off. And
Okay.
that way I can salvage some lumber to, work on other things.
So how many days?
Well, I think it's a good question, and you're going in the right direction. But if you give him 30 days and he needs an extension, he can come back next month.
That's what I was hoping.
But we need to show progress in the first 30 days.
Okay. I was just trying to be realistic.
That'll work.
Understand, yeah, good.
That'll work.
But
Okay.
you got to make progress
Yes.
in the next 30 days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Or finish it. Oh, you didn't actually vote.
Oh, we didn't. I'm sorry. Hang on a second. We have a motion on the floor. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, now what? So other old business, 11316 Deham Drive. This case was back in 2023. You all issued a final order for the fine to be paid. And if you all can remember the house, this was the burnt house in Willow Creek subdivision. The picture on the left shows what it did look like. So the house, the fine was paid, and the house was bought by an individual. And I just wanted to show pictures because the case is prepared to be closed. The picture on the left shows what it did look like. The picture on the right is what it looks like now. This is the back of the picture taken 6/27 of 23. 1 year later, here's the back of the picture since it's been completed. There is still some construction going on in the inside, but it does not involve code enforcement. From my knowledge, all permits have been pulled and inspections are being done.
Thank you.
5603 Windy Willow. This was a tall grass and junk and debris. You all voted to uphold the fine of $150 to be paid within 30 days. That fine has not been paid as of today, so that 30 days has passed. The property was in compliance, but you did uphold the fine. So I have tried to contact the lady, but I have intentions of filing a lien on the property.
Okay.
And
Can we make a motion on that?
In regard to what?
If the property, we accomplished what we were trying to in getting it into compliance, correct?
This says it remains in compliance.
Yes.
So
Is it worth our time putting a lien on a piece of property that's in compliance at this point?
yes, I mean, that's just
Okay.
us filing a lien in the clerk's office.
Okay.
Since the fine hasn't been paid.
Okay.
Yep. You don't need a motion for that necessarily, but it will
No.
go, and if the property's ever sold, it gets paid.
so just to make a note, the property was cleaned up when I brought it to the code board, and they decided to uphold the fine.
Okay. All right, thank you for the clarification.
All right. any
And
other-
that does it for today.
Are they here for something? I mean, you've been sitting out there patiently. I'm not sure why.
Okay. What case were you all here for? Okay,
Oh,
so
why didn't you come forward?
that case was the first case that was heard? Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, they're just asking if there was a reason. I think the applicant or the property owner had to, another commitment, and the board chose to move it up, but.
Yeah, the board chose to move it up. It was a,
Are you the property owners?
So why don't you come forward and we can
Please come
explain.
forward.
if you want to come forward.
What was it? Which one was it?
So let's be clear on which one it is.
76.
I'm going to pull that case up.
Okay.
Is it Ridgeway?
Correct. It was the first case that we saw.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for acknowledging.
I knew you weren't here just to, because you didn't need a ticket to get in.
For all of us.
Nice
been
and
very
patient.
gracious.
So,
Nice and
Adam, why
patient.
don't you, for their benefit, go over,
So this was the case of Ridgeway Properties. This
we're on the
was
correct one, right? Okay.
Yeah. So this was the location, and I think I know I think I know where y'all reside. Violation of the nuisance ordinance. Received complaints. The dumping of trash and yard debris was taking
You
place.
can just go to the pictures, I think.
Yep.
So this was the original pictures that I went out there and took that caused for the citation. I issued the citation. I was out there today. They have since blocked off the entrance into the property, the two ways in. And this is what was there. He had cut up all the lumber and chipped it all up. And I didn't see any sign of trash or debris laying around anywhere on the property when I was up there.
There's grass to the top of our fence, along our fence line, and I think it's still a mattress in the yard.
I did not see any of that. Yeah, I didn't see it. I did see that there was a trailer up there, but I didn't see any junk or debris. And I can definitely call the property owner tomorrow, and he can meet me up there and take another look at that. But I didn't see any
You know
of
what
that.
she's talking about?
I know where she's talking about, yeah.
Because
Meet
those
them.
pictures, like, if you're, like, standing here looking over, like, all that was cut up, that was flying over in our yard that almost hit us a couple of days, yes, that has been cleared up. But if you were to step back to that fence, it's still grass. It's as tall as a tree. That was
That's
a
like
whole.
if you're facing where you are right now, that's to the right. We are to
Yeah,
the
we
left.
turn this way and go.
Okay.
That's what was the complaint about the mice.
You're talking about the tall grass along that fence right there?
Yes,
And that mattress? Is that a mattress?
yes.
Because that was all gone when I was up there today. I didn't see any of that. I can go, I went up there and took pictures, but I can definitely contact the homeowner or the property owner and talk about the grass being cut back. I will contact him tomorrow. I didn't cite him for the tall grass. I cited him for the trash and debris and the dumping of the material. I didn't say anything to him about tall grass.
So, and I'm glad you brought that up. So, if you don't go tomorrow, I understand you're busy, you need a day off tomorrow, okay? But next week, today's week, Friday, I'll probably find it.
Yeah, you
And
can
if
call me.
there's
I will
grass,
call. I promise you I'll
text
contact
you a
you.
picture of it and you can see the picture, because that's been the problem, is that grass up here, and like we told you, all of a sudden, we got mice. That's a problem for me.
Yeah, I did notice all the debris was gone, and then he had chipped it all up.
Yeah,
And
we watched
it seems like he's kind of cleaned it up.
Yes, they have, and I will give them credit, they definitely were, they have been on it the last couple of weeks, like I said, it's been flying over, hitting our deck, our yard.
And I didn't know y'all were coming today, but he asked me to leave that because he had a.
Thank you for waiting.
But he will, Adam will contact him and you let him know where the problem is, we'll take care of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are we done?
That's it.
Okay, being no
you have
further
something
business, we are done.
All right.
When I said I was going out with a bang, I didn't mean like literally. I was talking to